Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello, Scouty Paws. You are always there first on Twitch. It's actually an oddity when you're not. But hello. Hello, hey for Michelle. Hell for Michelle. Hello, everyone who is here. Sorry. Also, by the way, new obsession is Clavicular's trip to Israel. Sorry, I have so much open. I just closed a load of it, so give me 1 second. Vashi Vash. Morning, everyone. / hello. We've got some good stuff. Lurker says hi. Awesome. Hi to you too. And I hope you're enjoying the lurk. I wish there was, by the way, just a quick question to any members on YouTube who have their ads on. Do you get ads as a member? Because I don't know if you can turn that off on YouTube. Hello, Tara. Hello, everyone. Isaac was talking about you. When was Isaac talking about me? What was he talking about? I don't want to hear that man has got my name in his fucking mouth. Your favourite redcoat. Jesus. They're referring to me as a turncoat these days. Kibbutzkula. Yeah. I'm actually writing a long form video on Clavicular, like a long form. But I'll talk about it today because I think there's other stuff. I wrote quite a bit of the video this morning, like 1,000 words or so, but also I was faffing around. I spent ages trying to work out who Clavicular got his private jet from, and I also spent fucking ages researching that IDF girl who he's with. Now, I was like, okay, maybe this is just Clippers being outrageous. No, Clavicular genuinely was with an IDF girl, and by the way, the IDF girl that Clavicular was with, I don't know if anyone else has mentioned this, her brother runs this organization, okay? Her brother is this guy, his name's Daniel Braun, or Braun. Daniel Braun is a particularly interesting character because of one major thing. He is followed by Yair Netanyahu. So, Clavicular might have actually been in contact with... He definitely was in contact with Netanyahu's aides. He might have been paid by some Israeli billionaire to do propaganda. It's actually kind of an insane story, but we'll do it. Do you have ad block on? Or is it for members, they don't get ads? Because that would be good if members don't get ads, but maybe you just have it. Yeah, I'll show you all this research I've been doing. I didn't quite believe this. The Clavicular stuff is actually fucking insane. Drac, I remember people talking about that, the club venture, working with an Israeli mafioso thing. Also, never really shout this out, but Svila, thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Yes, I hope you're all good. Isaac mentioned that you two were boyfriends, and that Noah and Spooky might be part of your polycule. Yeah, actually, Noah got banned from the polycule because he spent his time a fucking Ethan Klein in the court of law. Do you get it? Because Noah Samson destroyed Ethan Klein in the court of law. And that would mean that he was no longer part of the polycule in the sense of, like, he was fucking Ethan Klein. So, do you get it? It was just a joke, I swear. That's the kind of stuff we talk about in the polycule. Yeah, I'm sure I could find that. I just haven't looked into it. I think people will like this video. It's a fun one. It's kind of about why, like, Clavicular is a fantastic vehicle for Israeli propaganda. So hopefully people watch it. Also, happy compromise. I think I might make the videos members only, the VODs, and because there's like that one guy who is complaining. I think what I'll do is I'll do it after 2 days. So that gives anyone who's already a VOD watcher enough time, and anyone who like wants to still watch them much later on, they can just pay and they can just just pay a small amount. And, you know, it's a lot of content, so I don't think it's that terrible of a deal if that's what you like to do. And for everyone else, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Hello, DG. Chad, Noah Sampson, Moggs, Ethan Klein. Yes. Let's do the Wordle. That's the kind of mood I'm in today. We'll do the Wordle, then we'll hop straight into some news. There's some interesting-ish news, a little bit underprepared, but I was underprepared yesterday and that went well. And I think I'm going to start trying to be a bit more, stay Gucci, Chris. I'm even, yeah, I mean, I've seen, like, vaguely what Bad Empanada's up to on Twitter. And I know people are just like, oh, you know, just saying someone's mean is, like, not liking someone because they're mean. I'm gonna be real with you, like, I'm not so sure, like, just going and calling people fat is just a pleasant way to be behaving, even if you disagree with them. Like, I'm not just calling everyone fat. I'm not sure that's right. I'm not sure you should be doing that. I don't think it's nice or kind. And, you know, sure, these people may be pieces of shit in your opinion, but why are you just making people sad and uncomfortable and unhappy who are around you? You know, I don't know. I haven't been a fan of that. Marcus, if you sell them on the black market, I will go. Have you ever heard of the game Postal? I'll be doing that. No, I won't be doing that. That's a little joke. He's just been arguing with some lady and just calling her fat, like, over and over again. And it's just like, I don't know. I wouldn't be doing that. I don't know. I don't know why you do that. I just think, like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Doesn't sound Twitter, but I don't care about that more than the people being hypocritical on leftist principles. No, 100%. That's fair enough. I don't get why he's up to that. I don't know why he's up to that. He's just, I don't know. He just behaves like just badly. And I think, like, this is a point of, like, if he wasn't like that, if he maintained still this really hard, like, going hard on people is fair enough. And I understand why people are like, oh, his principles, you know. I think a lot of people on Platinum were exposed, but yeah. Wait, that's not Anthony we're talking about. That's not Anthony that we're talking about, by the way. It's not Anthony, it's Bad Empanada talking to someone else, and it's not like what Anthony did the other day. It's quite different, you know, and I could see why someone would be like, hi, I don't love that, Anthony, but I think Anthony would probably listen. You know what this is perfect for? Trying lunch. Fuck. Pouts, I'm gonna try. Ooh. What the fuck? T-O-U-T. Is it stout? Yeah. Woof. Woof. That's pretty good. You just said that, Master D-Roy. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, fair enough, like, talking about yeah. I didn't see him calling. I saw him calling someone else Jabba the Hutt. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Like, people were, you know, I don't, like, it's not great, but yeah. Anthony was different stuff. And Anthony was like a different thing. He called girl with a microphone a slob, which, you know, some people might be offended by, but I think Anthony was pretty pissed off about what's happening in Lebanon. And then Bad Empanada was just, I have constantly been getting bombarded with this, these constant things in my feed of just him talking to this lady and calling her overweight. And I don't know. I just don't think it's the best way to conduct yourself on the internet. I don't think it's a way I'll ever conduct myself. I just don't think it makes people comfortable, and I don't think it's nice, and I don't think there's any point to it. I didn't see the stuff about questioning the Afro-Palestinian identity. Although I did read, and it's really funny, like, loads of people cite Afro-Palestinians, and they're like, look how badly they're treated. And if you read their articles, they're like, yeah, we experience racism in, like, society, in Palestinian Arab society. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I don't think Palestinians or Arabs of any variety are, like, all necessarily woke, and there's, of course, improvements that can be made. But all of these people also say it's the Israelis who treat them worse. Did you see ICE killed another person yesterday? No? Did they? Did they? Uh, uh, um, I don't think. I don't know. You're a quirked up gent after all. What do I reckon of Bad Empanada? Once again, like, he was right about the platinum stuff, 100%. But as I said then, I don't really like the way he conducts himself on the internet. I think that he's, he was right about platinum and he's right to call people out. But yeah, like, I don't know. I don't think his conduct is necessarily just fantastical, which I don't know. I think I've said that before. His conduct is really not great, and I just think I haven't seen fully what he was up to on Twitter, but just I don't know. I just don't think calling people fat is just like a great idea. I don't think it's particularly pleasant, and I don't think it's particularly nice. Wait, the Argentinian. Speaking of bad empanada, apparently the Argentinian peso has like completely collapsed. Wow. Uh. Um, describing him as a COD lobby warrior is pretty true. Mentioning bad imp. Sometimes you got to harness the COD lobby energy for good. Yeah, but I don't know. There are so many people, and like I just don't feel the need to like. I really don't like girl with a microphone, but I'm not just gonna be like, ha 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 ha. You look like you are overweight. Like calling her an egg is funny because she looks a bit like an egg. Her head is very egg shaped, but like. I'm not just going to be calling her, like, mean names for the sake of it, Like, I'm not. It's not something I want to do. And it's not something I want to promote, and I don't think people should do it. Like, I don't think you should. I don't think it's a great idea. But yeah. Anyway, this is actually crazy. How is it still collapsing? It is actually incredible. They were given, as this person pointed out, Trump and Besant gave Argentina $20 billion in exchange currency. They literally gave him that so he could win the election as well. And it's just awful. It's just awful. How does it even end up getting this bad when you're doing it's also amazing. There is no example of a successful capitalist economy where it looks after its people. For the first time as well, it will now be a criminal offence to support the IRGC in England, which I don't even know why we're doing that. It's pretty wild. Yeah, government to prescribe. I don't know how that'll operate. Yeah. I don't know whether that means... So wait, I'm not a fan of the IRGC. I'm a big fan of the Artesh, the Iranian army. I'm just a fan of the Iranian army, I swear, guys. I'm not a fan of the... I am really, really, really not a fan of the... I'm really not a fan of the IRGC, just the Artesh. Yeah. My 90-year-old Gramp said that he hopes that England win the World Cup. Your dirty bean propaganda worked on him. Well, England might win the World Cup. England might win the World Cup. And also, I don't know if you mean virtue signaling in terms of just, like, not being mean on the internet. I think, like, the thing about is just, like, I don't know, I just feel like making people try and feel good about themselves is a pretty good idea, especially because, like, sure, you might be saying it to a really, really horrible person, but there are also probably quite a lot of nice people who watch you who might struggle with their weight, and I don't want to make them just feel, like, bad. I don't. I just want people to be happy and comfortable. Also, by the way, Andrew Tate, uploaded some kind of video with a man who has no head in the background. I've never seen anything like it. They must have edited this guy's head out, and it's really, really, really well edited. I don't... Oh, wait, no, it's not. You can see the shadow of his head if you actually look closely enough. I don't know why they've done this. I really don't know why they've done this. It's really, really, really odd. FIFA, it's not coming home. Shut up. England can do it. It's fixed for England, mate. It's fixed for England. It's fixed for England. That shirt is so gay. Yes, Taylor Lorenz said it's harder to tell him and Bottom G apart day by day. Oh no, I mean the IRGC is virtue signaling from UK government. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I just think like I don't know. I don't want to make people just feel uncomfortable because of like who they are and with the things they're going through. I've been overweight at points in my life, and I didn't particularly love it, and I feel better being slightly healthier, but like it certainly wouldn't be nice if people were just like poking fun at you all the time because of it. What is that? What's that on my lips? I have no idea what's just on my lips. I think about oh, is that a fly? Oh. Sorry, I just accidentally bit into a fly, I think. It's coming home. It is. Why was Clav in Israel? Clavicular's in Israel doing propaganda for the Israeli government. I'm not even joking. Someone had some like ultra woke reply. So in case you haven't seen it, I've been doing the Chris Kunzler TikTok. Chris Kunzler Twitter account is going global. I finally broke the curse of being stuck with fucking 17,000 followers, and I now have 17,100. 17,100 followers, so that feels good. But yeah, I had a tweet and someone had this ultra woke response. It's not this one. To this one of they've honeypotted Clavicular. Someone responded like, sometimes people just have bad opinions, like, they're not being honeypotted. I don't think like Clavicular's actually being honeypotted to make him a dumbass who like is kind of just willing to do Israeli propaganda. I don't think that's why. Although one thing I will say is I do think it's kind of intentional that they chose this Israeli soldier lady who's been in the Israeli military for like 3 years. She's been there for ages, and who's like quite attractive, who's an influencer herself, whose brother is actually a massive influencer. It's definitely intentional. It's to show people, and I don't really know if her and Clavicular are in any kind of actual relationship. All I really know is just like that she is there to do propaganda for the Israeli military. She's also, by the way, not even born in Israel. She's Australian. She's fucking Australian. And her brother is a really famous Zionist who you probably know, which I feel has kind of been underreported. His name is Daniel Braun. They're both Australians. He's also made quite weird sexual TikToks about his sister, which I can actually show you. Also, why does it? He's made quite weird sexual videos about his sister. I'll actually show you. But anyway, we'll get into that in a bit. I did want to show you a video that's kind of, we've been talking about tough things. I think that there's something worth talking about before we get into this, which is... also, I found out what Lindsey Graham meant by ladybugs, so thank you for telling me about that. Let's just watch this. This is, I think her name's Goldie Gemayel, or Goldie something, Goldie Gamari, or Goldie looking chain.
In memory of Uncle Lindsay. And then look at this photo. This one really breaks my heart because this is the lion and son, and the lion is crying, and the lion has put its sword down, and both the lion and the son are crying because this shows that all of Iran is in mourning. So, oh my gosh,
Jesus fucking Christ. Imagine crying over an AI video of Lindsey Graham. Who is doing that? Who is so sad over a video of Lindsey Graham? Also, her name is Goldie Gamari, that's it. So she streams for 6 hours a day. She did a 6-hour stream about Lindsey Graham's death.
usually considered disrespectful to alter the emblem of a flag. But in this case, Iran
Who is watching this? Who is watching this?
mentioned earlier. And like I mentioned earlier, you know,
it's such a stupid image.
when it comes to flag protocol, right? When it comes to flag protocol, usually it's considered, disrespectful to alter the emblem of, you know,
I don't even think I'm gonna be real with you here. There are quite a lot of wild Iranians in this world. That's probably who this is for. You've created this whole thing of like playing into other kind of crazy people's visions about Iran. Yeah, Amu Lindsay, Uncle Lindsay.
it's usually considered disrespectful to alter
The flag etiquette is just ugh. Ugh. What is flag etiquette?
the emblem of a flag. But in this case, Iranians have altered the emblem of the lion and sun flag. And the lion has put his sword down. So remember, this is
How are you talking about like the lion putting its sword down? It's an AI image. In fact, the lion is being quite dangerous. The lion is actually touching the sword actively with his hand. It's very sad, Goldie. I just I can't believe this. I can't believe that people watch this.
this is the lion and sun flag right here, okay?
She has to show the actual lion and sun flag because her audience doesn't have object permanence as of yet.
This is a lion and sun flag. So you have the lion, and he's in a very fierce and proud, strong pose, and he's holding his sword up high, and there's the sun behind him, right?
The first wait, you guys can't see the commentary. Hold on. The comment down here is saying the the Goldie Gamari viewership have issued the call. We must find out whether the IRGC had something to do with this. This video it's 6 hours, but it has 38,000 views. She seems to get about 20,000 views on like 6 hour streams, which is pretty fucking crazy. I'm going to be honest. I don't know who's watching this. Who is watching her sort of analysis? I actually think that, it must just be sort of mass sort of psychosis Iranians who are watching this. Iran Revolution Live. Do you know Europe song? What? Iranians celebrate Khamenei's funeral worldwide as Trump declares ceasefire over. She gets quite a lot of viewers. She must be getting quite a lot of viewers. But once again, I don't put it past Israel to be inflating these accounts if that's possible. Wait. And all of it's fucking AI slop.
And in honor of Senator Lindsey Graham's passing, in honor of Senator Lindsey Graham's passing, Iranians have altered the line.
Her YouTube chat doesn't actually look like it's going very fast for having 37,000 views, which is kind of odd. I don't really get why you would not have like a quick chat. Like my chat with way less viewers is far quicker than that.
Lion and sun emblem. And I can't think of a more beautiful tribute. I can't think of a better way to honor the passing of Senator Lindsey Graham. And I think this is 100% appropriate. And I think this is 100% beautiful. And, this shows that this is a very beautiful depiction of how an entire Iranian nation, right? I'm not talking about Islam. I'm not talking about the Islamic regime because they're scum. They're garbage, right?
This is one of the weirdest videos I've ever seen. This woman is that, you know, this woman is like a full-on analyst that the Israelis regularly welcome on. She's not coherent. One, two, she's fucking mental. She's fucking mental. Like, this is an amazing tribute to Lindsey Graham. And you're saying stop watching this. I will shortly. I'm just enjoying. I'm learning. And it's kind of crazy that actually you want to sit there and speak over an Iranian voice who is telling us about the beautiful tributes that the Iranian people have given to the beautiful man that was Lindsey Graham. She's Canadian, Chris, is she?
Like, the Islamic regime is the enemy of Iran. The Islamic regime has their garbage Allahu Akbar flag. This is a depiction of the lion and sun flag, the one above my head. And this image is going viral because the lion has put his sword down to mourn the passing of Amu Lindsay.
Do you think she understands that the lion isn't real? Do you think that she understands that this lion is like AI generated?
Amu means uncle, and we Iranians, we called Senator Lindsey Graham Amu Lindsay because he was one of us. And we Iranians, like, we're very loyal. We're very loyal people. And, you know, it not just anyone is called Amu, right? Like, in you know, and I know that there's a lot of cultures that are similar to this as well. Like, one of my very, very good friends, she's Guyanese. It's similar in their culture, right? Like, if there's someone that you respect a lot, but they're not a member of your family, you call them auntie or uncle, right? So I know, like, in Guyanese culture, so many other cultures as well. I just can't think of it right now. But, in many cultures, when you respect and love someone so much that you pretty much
and the IRGC's fast.
Oh wait, so this is like a show hosted by multiple other people, or what? Because this guy's some other like Iran idiot.
Don't.
Jesus Christ. Well, anyway. No one else is sad that Lindsey Graham is dead. Lindsey Graham, yep, he's dead. I'm sure, yeah, he's just an awful, awful, awful guy. His final words, or final-ish words, have been linked. A person who spoke with Graham shortly afterwards said the senator complained that he was feeling unwell. Oh no. When the person urged him to seek medical attention immediately, Graham said he would do Sunday morning after his scheduled appearance on NBC's Meet the Press. Graham then joked, "I can't die now. I still need to do the Russia sanctions, get Iran sorted out, and do Israeli-Saudi normalization." He passed away several hours later. Tragedy. Yeah. I don't know. This man was literally like, this guy loved Israel. That's what this guy's life was defined by, loving Israel. That's who he was. Like, he was just some guy that really fucking loved Israel. Some antiquated, strange man who was out of touch, but somehow continued to win. I guess it's because boomers liked him. And yeah, what an unpleasant individual. He died of, also, it seems like he died of some heart issues. Also, I watched Children of Men yesterday. That was actually a really good film. I really enjoyed Children of Men. Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised by how good it was. I gave it 5 stars, I think. I really thought it was a poignant film. I also just closed the wrong thing. Hold on. Give me a second. He loved Israel. Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people who I've heard a lot of people who claimed that he had some abusive behaviors with queer sex workers, and don't know if that's 100% true, but he was an odd guy. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by it. Did you rate Clive Owen's performance? Yeah, I thought Clive Owen was pretty good in it. To be honest, I feel like sometimes if a film's really good, you can kind of just not really notice the performance that much. I just thought the substance of the film and the like concept and the way it dealt with the topic was really, really poignant and kind of worrying. Like, there are a lot of people in the UK who do want the country to be like that, and especially now. Yeah, I've seen people come out, I don't know, just celebrating Lindsey Graham when he had such repugnant things to say about, like, people, about Iranians, really, is just, yeah. But I don't know, we've heard this before. We've heard this before about, like, Lindsey Graham being gay. He's just, yeah, I don't know.
Is, 20 years from now, go to the Miss South Carolina pageant, pick out the winner. I mean, I'm right on schedule. I'm right on track.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably, I don't know, maybe it happened, but maybe he was gay. I can't confirm it. Quite possibly was. Do you know what you've done? You've just created a million Lindsey Grahams. Chris, have you noticed all the UK Falklands imperialist takes coming out due to upcoming England-Argentina game? I mean, I don't know enough about the Falklands, really, but in my understanding, like, the Falklands were uninhabited, right? And there were British people who lived there, British settlers who wanted to be part of the UK, in my understanding. Do they still, I think, if you survey them? I think Thatcher didn't even really want it, though, and it was the Argentines' kind of, like, decision to go after it that caused the problem. I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I think it's funny to talk about, I'll be honest. I'm sure there are imperialists. Football does bring out the worst in people. I think it does bring out the worst in people, and a lot of people who like football, unfortunately, are kind of, pretty racist at times, so it doesn't really surprise me. Yeah, he is live. He is live. And now it has oil. Also, Carney said he was sad, got Trump boots so far down his throat. Really? He said he was sad? Political moving and popping up a dying empire. What the point of the Falklands was? Yeah, I don't. But yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I don't know. I just, it's such a thing that just doesn't figure into your life as a British person. It just doesn't really figure into your life as a British person. And I'm sure that there's heinous shit going on around it. Now it has oil discovered since the war. Yeah. I'm just pouring out some water. I hope you enjoyed the ASMR. Yeah, Maggie Thatcher did it. But yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah. It's, I don't know. Who would you rather have the Falklands? Javier Milei or fucking Keir Starmer / Andy Burnham? I don't care, personally. It's going to be under a US vassal no matter. Exactly. And it's not, because I'd always thought, like, oh, it must be an example of Britain expelling indigenous people. It was basically uninhabited, right? Like, no one lived there, really, in my understanding. And it doesn't mean that it wasn't necessarily something imperial done by the British Empire. I don't like I don't really care. You guys know my opinions on the British Empire, but yeah, it's, oh, there's probably a good article about Lindsey Graham by Matthew Petty, which might be worth checking out. Mitch is still alive, so yeah, Mitch is still alive. The water pouring ASMR made me need to pee. Give the Falklands to me. Yeah, give you the Falklands. Oh, we just hit 3,100 followers, I think. Interesting. On Twitch. Thanks for that. Falklands was good old settler colonialism, but I don't know if you would describe the Falklands as settler colonialism, because there wasn't an indigenous population of the Falklands, right? Like, settler colonialism describes a particular form of colonialism, which is premised on eliminating the indigenous people. So I don't think it would fit within the idea of settler colonialism. Maybe settlement colonialism, but it would not be settler colonialism. What are your thoughts on uniting Ireland? It's completely Irish people's decision. Like, I don't think Britain should have any interest in it. I don't think the UK, should have any interest at all in it. Okay, disappointing take. Of course, Argentina should control the resources. Nearly all nations agree except US, UK, France, Canada, Australia, France. I guess the people who actually live there, it's their decision. But yeah, it's their prerogative. I'm sure it fits within the British Empire's like imperial conquests. But like, yeah, it's not. I wouldn't describe it as settler colonialism. But I'm not sitting here like advocating for it to be like this amazing thing. But yeah, the resources belong to South America. I mean, sure. It's also just a weird thing. I don't think it's something to do with. I just don't think it really is something significant. Like in terms of like British people, it's kind of the same as Northern Ireland, but even weirder in the sense of like Northern Ireland and Britain's desire to cling on to it was such like an important thing for so long, and now it's totally fucking meaningless. I would hazard a guess, if you took most Northern Irish people to the UK, to England, most people would just be like, you're Irish, you're not English, you're from the north of Ireland, most people here just wouldn't really care. And it's like something that just doesn't matter in like English people's lives. The fact that we still cling on to it is really odd. The same with the Falklands. The Falklands is some place that is thousands of miles away that has no consequence on like average English person's life. We don't need it, and I don't know why we prop it up. I would die for United Ireland. Yeah, I mean, it's totally Irish people's choice. Like, I think, you know, Ireland struggled for a long time for it to be united. All I mean is that just it should be down to Irish people to decide. It really has nothing to do with, you know, England. It doesn't. Perhaps some justice for what was done. But, yeah, I really don't think it's, like, something that we should be, like, saying it's sort of, you know, that we have anything to do with. And exploitative if they're preventing Argentina from obtaining it. Should we keep the Chagos Islands? Again, it's something far away that has nothing, like, yeah, it's used for US defense. Didn't actually, in the case of the Chagos Islands, weren't Chagosians, like, if that's what you'd term them as, weren't they removed from Chagos? And weren't they, like, actually removed to build the base there? So, probably not. Give them Blackpool as well. I don't think Irish people want Blackpool, mate. I think Blackpool might be more of a burden. That we simply can't have. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Same reason why Canada won't do what? Toddler nation shouting, that's mine, when anyone else tries to do anything. As in the UK? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of pathetic. And I was thinking you meant, like, me, Jules, of maybe being an imperialist. Like, look, I've not read much, like, decolonial theory around the Falklands. I've seen some people talk about it. Like, I've seen some people talk about their feelings towards the Falkland Islands, and I guess there is just this misconception that it's like this example of, like, Britain, you know, ethnically cleansing settlers, but, ethnically cleansing natives and replacing them with settlers, but that didn't happen. But, like, still, once again, it's just, like, something that's just, like, It's not my area of expertise, but yeah. Not UK and Israeli companies. And yeah, 100%. I think the only problem with that is if you give it to Argentina currently, the same problem will persist, right? The same problem will persist that like average Argentinians are not going to get anything from it. And I'm not sure that's a great justification for Britain to have it, but yeah. We're probably more of a temporary place the indigenous people went to for exploitation of fauna. There is evidence of pre-Columbian material. Interesting. Ireland belongs to the Irish Americans. I think that's almost as offensive as saying it belongs to the British. Yeah. And on Scotland, it should be Scottish people's choice, but, you know. I guess one of the things you don't want to do is just end up with, like, the same nationalism that took over the UK. You know. Further Canada is recognising territory at public events. You've clearly never been on an Air Canada flight when it's like we're respecting the indigenous people's lives. Give them to Brazil then. But what if Bolsonaro comes back into power and he like flees there like Napoleon did? What island did Napoleon go to? That's what Bolsonaro is gonna do. The stock market is experiencing a Monday, is it? Oh, yeah, the stock market is experiencing a Monday. I mean, the stock market is also experiencing the worst Monday imaginable because it had gained quite a lot on the basis of the idea that there was going to be a ceasefire, and now that ceasefire idea has gone away. So, yeah. It's not good. Obviously, the gains are going to be erased, and that's not good. Hi everyone. Hello, Hardly Recommend. I hope you're doing okay after another bombing campaign. Because the Gov doesn't want to set a precedent. Yeah. Everyone has to watch the Baroness von Sketch skit about Atlantic. I've never heard of that. The UK needs to keep the Falklands just despite... To be fair, I thought this shows like how kind of leftists on the internet have no principles. Because a few days ago, you guys were all hating on Messi. You were calling him Zional Messi. You were calling them Vargentina. You were saying that it was occupied by Israel and all of this stuff. And now, all of a sudden, you're like, no, I am loving Israel. No, I'm loving Argentina. Oh, give him the Falklands. You are giving the Falklands to Messi. You are giving the Falklands to Israel. Using settlers as justifications for an next land. Yeah, it's just a lexicon thing then. Like, just a specific thing that settler colonialism actually is. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, settlement colonialism. I just want burgers. Exactly. Do people like Messi now? I always kind of liked Messi. I think he's a brilliant football player, but people got really upset because Netanyahu loves Messi, by the way. Like, Netanyahu loves any footballer, and I think Barcelona's higher-ups have been, like, Zionists for a while, and they took, like, the whole team there on a propaganda trip, so there's some crazy photo of Messi in Israel kissing the Wailing Wall, and, yeah, it's, people found it quite funny. England is more Israel than Argentina. Probably. I mean, we created Israel. Just because we're a dead empire doesn't mean we didn't do that. But yeah. Lionel Messi is crazy. It's interesting to see the dichotomy of human beings. Mia V, Lionel Messi is crazy work. Personal Chizo. OMG, Lionel Messi is fucking brilliant. But Maradona, by the way, Maradona allegations. I always thought Maradona was pretty base, but a Cuban woman alleges that that Maradona abused her. So I don't know. So I've heard that, but I've never looked into it massively. Zybo Courtois is out and maybe injured, which is great. Yeah, I know. Crimea, for example, they used a Russian-speaking population and some oppression narrative to save them from some cultural BS. Yeah, I mean, quite possibly. I don't know enough about Russia and Crimea. This is the thing. I'm trying to learn more about the world, but then I get caught up in researching who the hell paid for Clavicular's private jet. But yeah, what was I gonna say? We let athletes get away with it. I know. But football's such a corrupt sport. All of it is. And I guess that's the thing of like Socrates. Socrates was actually based. That footballer Socrates was very based, wasn't he? He was like yeah, he literally was he was a doctor, wasn't he, as well? He was a great football player. I don't know much about him, but he was a good man, right? He died though. Yeah, he died in 2011. He died quite young. 57. How did he die? Oh, he was a drinker and a smoker. He described alcohol as his companion. Yeah, that's probably not a great way. No, I don't think Messi is I don't think Messi is. That is an excuse for Messi. Okay, right. Let's talk about a little bit of light reprieve, which is actually quite interesting. Clavicular in Israel. So, in case you've missed it, the famous tick click guy Clavicular is in Israel. Clavicular's in Israel, and basically it's now caused a controversy, and he appeared on Israeli Channel 13 with this guy who's calling him out, so let's have a listen.
Shalom Clavicular.
How's everything?
Shalom Clavicular.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Okay, do you enjoy your time in Israel?
Yeah, it's been a really good time so far. We've just been in Tel Aviv for the past few days, but everything's been great.
Okay, I see. So you basically came here to apologize?
So we came here to explore Tel Aviv and kind of show that it's a really fun city, and you know, because there's a lot of misconceptions about it. Like, you know, when you look up on TikTok about Mykonos or Ibiza or all the frequented summer spots for the popular European summer, you see a bunch of tourist things like, you know, clubs and great things about the city to do. But when you look up Israel, obviously it's just a lot of stuff about, like, you know, war and stuff.
By the way, I am really, really 100% of the opinion that Clavicular was brought to Israel intentionally. I can't confirm it's by the government of Israel. I do think that the government of Israel knew that what was happening and that they wanted this to happen. But yeah, I think Clavicular isn't a dumb guy, but he's literally explaining what he's there for. So Clavicular is admitting he is there to flood social media, because if you don't know how Kick actually operates as a social media platform, is their streamers aren't actually particularly good at streaming. Clavicular's not a good streamer. His streams are actually kind of boring. Kick pays for legions of clippers to clip people like Clavicular, because when he interacts with people in public, it creates like an interesting clip, and those clips are posted online, and basically Clavicular is probably whoever did this or whoever organized this knew that it would flood social media with images of parties in Israel, and that's actually what the point of all of this really is. Yeah, Kick literally, it's actually crazy. Kick pays people to clip streams, so they get the like RPM, but you know, these people aren't making enough money off RPM, but they get huge amounts from like hitting certain goals being given to them by whoever makes them do the clipping, which is kind of crazy, you know, that this is actually a reality. I learned this when I was reading about Chud the Builder and like clipping.
Like that.
And yeah, it's all just advertising for stake.com. I watched him do a gambling stream. I watched a whole gambling stream from Clavicular. It is literally the most boring shit ever. Like, it's literally just watching like he's not even particularly interesting whilst gambling, you know. He's not like, you know, exciting. He just sits there and he like presses the slot machine button over again. You could literally just go and watch old people in fucking like Vegas and you'd get the same. In fact, it would probably be more interesting because there's more of them and they're old. They might do something cool. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
When the reality is, it's a very fun city. So good to show everyone that, you know, this is the real reality of Tel Aviv.
But you know what everybody in Israel is talking about right now, right?
Well, everyone in Israel is
No, we don't know what they're talking about. Translate it.
is talking about you know, what we're doing that's good. You know, so for you to kind of start the interview off in like a negative manner doesn't really make sense. You know, we came here after a ceasefire ended in a very unstable state, technically, to kind of show that, you know, Israel's a safe place. So for you to...
By the way, the most obvious thing that he is actually just on a straight up paid propaganda tour. Talking Clavicular's propaganda trip to Israel and run war from a hop in. By the way, I think Clavicular will have seen my tweet. I'd actually be pretty sure that this guy has at least seen one of my tweets because both of them were quite viral. And I doubt he's best pleased about hearing me say that he got honeypotted. I didn't know F1 had a steak team, though. Did you watch the clip where he points out the IOF honeypotted him girl so that she smells like BO? No, I didn't see that, surprisingly.
Start off in an attack.
No, by the way, so there's a symbiosis with this. Clavicular is there. He admits this himself. Clavicular is not as dumb as he might seem, right? Okay. But Clavicular's symbiosis is Clavicular knows Israel is controversial, so it just gets clicks. That's what he's doing. Like, Clavicular knows by going there that people are going to watch this and give him clicks and he'll get controversial things because people are interested in Israel. Why it's so important to Israel, and this is kind of what I'm making a video about, okay, is... the reason it's so important to Israel specifically is because the people who follow Clavicular and are interested in this don't actually have political convictions, you know. They don't have political convictions at all. The truth is of why he's there is because Israel views this as a great avenue of just showing you can go to Israel and there's like hot women around, like international hot women. By the way, this is literally something you can go back and watch Ethan Klein's old videos about how he met Hila Klein. Like, he's like, yeah, Birthright is like Jewish dating simulator. They send hot Israeli soldiers to come and meet you so, you know, you interact with them and you start to love Israel. That's the whole point, by the way. I don't really know if Clavicular's actually but like sleeping with the IOF woman who he was being with, but we're going to talk about her because she's actually really interesting, and like Al Jazeera did a video about her today, but there's more to her. There's a lot more to her than I think bears talking about. But yeah, he's there to like do PR for Israel. This is not like some dumb thing, and part of me thinks, is this Peter Thiel's doing? But I don't think it's Peter Thiel. I think this is like people affiliated with the Israeli government.
Agonistic way. I'm really, you know, kind of just confused.
But how can you not talk about
like
the
a very
song?
Poor journalist.
Just tell
tactic. Me. No. So if you're going to be negative, and ask about, you know, like old, you know, situations that are not so positive, then I really.
Also, okay, maybe he is dumb. Maybe he is dumb because he keeps saying, like negative and positive.
I don't want to talk to you.
Last January is not that old, you know.
Okay, thank you for playing that.
And
just
yeah,
because of
right
this.
after I was kicked out of the club, you know, the owner called me and profusely apologized.
That's a lie.
Offered me to come
We
back
checked.
and comp my entire night. So it was just.
I like this. I don't. Obviously, he's an Israeli journalist, so I doubt he's a good guy. But I like him just holding the feet to the fire and being like, "You're lying."
The mix up.
No, that's a lie. So why not clean the page?
So why not? So why don't you clean the page and, you know, talk about how much I've done for this country's reputation, because it's in utter shambles, right? You go on TikTok, you go on any social media.
Like, this is what I mean when I'm saying that he's not dumb. He knows what he's doing. He does understand that he is there to do propaganda for Israel. Yeah, like, he is there to do propaganda for Israel. Like, he is there to do propaganda for Israel. He knows that. He knows that he's there to do propaganda for Israel.
Page, the amount of propaganda among Gen Z and misconceptions, so that's what's doing the real damage, right? Not anything I've done that, we're here trying to set everything straight. I don't have to be in Israel, and quite frankly, if you're like, this is the most ridiculous thing ever.
I will say he has got a point there. Clavicular being in Israel and being interviewed by Israeli news is up there with the most ridiculous things ever.
I just woke up. I don't want to.
You might be right about the saying it out loud being dumb. Actually, you are kind of right. You are kind of right about that.
Be talking to someone who's going to be rude.
We understand, but there's an online backlash,
Because I'm here to do good things. So there's a backlash because of people like you. There's
because of people like me.
There's an online backlash because people like you,
like me,
talking about negative thing. So why don't you acknowledge the fact? That I'm here doing a good thing for the country, showing off Tel Aviv's beauty, showing off that it's safe.
Okay.
So why don't you talk about that, and then there won't be a bad PR. Okay. So you're the one who's causing these issues. So you are the one. You are the one who's doing this.
How can you not see the comments?
How can you not see? Because I can't read them. It's in a different language. It's in
Did you have AI and Google Translate?
I don't even know what. All right, so I can't. Oh, I have Google Translate. Yeah. Live on TikTok. Yeah, I could totally. Yeah, let me copy and paste every single little thing into Google Translate.
But you surely understand that people are angry.
No. Let me make you understand. I'm here for a good thing, and you're trying to drag me through the mud. And give me reputational damage. So quite
what's
honestly,
wrong with apologizing?
But yeah, I mean, also, maybe he's paid. Quite possibly he's paid. But he's certainly got a nice trip to Israel.
About singing Heil Hitler.
No. This interview is over.
Just apologize.
Why don't you apologize to me for? Why don't you apologize?
I need to apologize.
Why don't you apologize to me for wasting my time?
Why are you afraid to apologize? Just apologize. That's it. זהו, ככה הלך. הוא שומע? אוקיי, הוא עושה סלפי, אוקיי, יפה. זה הזמן לסלפי, אוקיי.
איך עדיין מבקשים ממנו סלפיז?
עדיין מבקשים ממנו סלפי?
By the way, it's also so funny because there's like this attempted stance against him, but like just loads of Israelis just absolutely love him. Galbia. Some scientists want more highbrow type propaganda than see this popular streamer on drugs all the time. Yeah, I mean, Clavicular has the most obvious addiction to certain substances, I think, out of anyone in the fucking world. But yeah, either way, so as many of you will know, Clavicular was with a lady. Now, I've been sort of researching this lady today. And as I've mentioned, I've been showing off my viral tweet. I won't stop showing off the viral tweet, pulling in the billions of views. Everyone loves this. But yeah, here you have this video of him.
On the Instagram. I don't have it.
So I'm not going to play this because it's got copyrighted music on. But Clavicular is seen here with this lady. Now, at first, I thought this was a joke. I did actually kind of think, I was like, this sounds a bit weird and a bit far-fetched. That Clavicular is with some girl, his Israeli girlfriend, who has the login to the IOF's official TikTok account. I am increasingly... This is actually true. By the way, you can go on her LinkedIn. Her name is Shira Brown. Brown. Shira Braun. You can just go and find her LinkedIn. She's deleted her Instagram. I think one of the reasons that she's probably deleted it is because there was compromising shit on there. Here you go. This is her. Shira Braun, that's her. You can see that's the same woman. She has literally here creative manager at the IOF for 1 year 11. So she manages creative teams, but she also worked for this company here called Let's Do Something. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This company donated $250,000 of drones to the Israeli military. What's particularly interesting is what this company's up to. So this company's like anti-Semitism fighting stuff, you know. It's like they pretend that they fight anti-Semitism, but it's really just celebrating Israel's genocide of Palestinians. I mean, they're employing Yosef Haddad here.
Say that, oh, there's a terrorist organization. The moment you say that, anyone could be a terrorist the moment you don't like them. Think about it.
I don't know, but when you go in the 7th of October and you...
It's just like dumb pro-Israel slop, okay? It's nothing special. You know, it's like employing this guy, Nick Mattel, to do pro-Israel slop. It's just pro-Israel slop, okay? So she used to be the social media manager of this, but this guy here on the right is her brother, Daniel Braun, okay? Daniel Braun, Israel. So Daniel Braun is another pro-Israel guy who does pro-Israel slop. He's got loads of followers on TikTok. He does like stuff like this.
Who hate us.
I am afraid to be Jewish. By the way, kind of interesting because this guy's talking about how he's afraid to be Jewish and stuff. But like, he posted a photo with Clavicular, who's literally friends with neo-Nazis and like genuine anti-Semites. To know he's too stupid to... Clavicular is smart enough to know that he's too stupid to say anything meaningful on politics, but too stupid to realize he's being exploited. No, I think he fully knows what he's doing. Clavicular sees it as symbiotic. Clavicular gets clicks. Clavicular's been falling off, so he wants controversy, so he goes to Israel, where he gets loads of clips, where he meets Israeli girlfriend or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. He just leaks this. But anyway, this is the brother of that Braun lady, Shira Braun, okay? Now, if you go onto his following, here's something interesting. Yeah, Netanyahu. Look who Yeah Netanyahu follows. Daniel Braun. Damn. Yeah Netanyahu follows 800 people. It's not that many. So, I mean, that's quite weird, first of all. But yeah, her brother is very connected with, like, big Zionists. She used to work for it. So I don't think it's too much of a doubt to say that the Israeli government is affiliated with this. But yeah, his sister has, like, been a long-time creator of pro-Israel content. She's also, by the way, the lady he's with is just Australian.
I'm today with my sister at Tel Shomer at Bakum because she is currently drafting to the IDF. Shira Braun, where are you enlisting to?
So basically, yeah, this woman is serving in the IOF.
Can you tell us what?
So I'm going to stop this because it has music on and I really can't be getting demonetized. But yeah, so she's part of Mikveh Alon, which is like an organization that teaches you really quickly how to speak Hebrew. So she's Australian. She didn't speak Hebrew. And if you just sort of like scroll down through here, this is like the international IOF terrorists. They're like just Americans and British people who go over to Israel to serve in the IOF. Like, she clearly has some involvement with this. Yeah. Well, she's a social media manager in the IOF. Do you know about the connections with Peter Thiel? There's deep connection. Yeah, the only thing is the only person I've actually really seen go deep into that is... the only person who I've seen go deep into that is Channel 5, and their reporting wasn't necessarily that conclusive. But yeah, Shira Braun never appears in these videos, but she is definitely a social media person with the IOF, which is weird. It's really weird that she's hanging out with Clavicular. It's really odd. All of this is really odd, I'll be honest with you. This or that Israeli Soldiers Edition. Who are you choosing? The Nahal Battalion or the paratroopers? www.israeliarmy.net. They are all precious. Sheyon. Number 1, Matkal. 2, Duvdevan. Shaldag, number 3. Yamash, number 4. Wow. Which you're choosing? The Genocide Battalion number 1 or Genocide Battalion number 3?
You're just here for the zip line.
What?
Like, I think that they just try and make it look like serving in the Israeli military is just sort of like this fun thing.
Representative of the IDF back.
But yeah, I I don't know. She's never on this account, okay? But she just does like very standard pro-Israel propaganda. Shira Braun. She deleted the photo with her of Clavicular. It's just kind of like day in the life Israeli soldier kind of stuff. I'll show you. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
This.
Round and round.
It's like thirst traps for the Israeli military. By the way, it's crazy to think that this is actually her job. Do you condemn Hamas? Yeah, I'm condemning Hamas. IOF TikToks have the same quality as Israeli techno music. Yeah, she kind of just like does thirst traps for the Israeli military and stuff. That's like her whole shtick. And then like, also, by the way, you want to see something weird? Her brother has like I found like a YouTube short of her brother, which is like.
Hold on a bit. There's gonna be a bump.
Hold on, let me show you this. This is one of the weirdest TikToks I've seen. Because they've clearly recorded this multiple times because there's water on there and these cups aren't that full.
Hold on a bit. There's gonna be a bump. Daniel.
How are you making TikToks like this about your sister? This is so weird. And I think is that their dad? Like, imagine doing this. This is some of the deep. She could not hold all that water. Let's have a look at the comments. It seems like the older brothers do the exact same thing, no matter what country you go to. Why is this also... Is this Korean? Why are there loads of Korean people who are just translating this? Like, who are just loving this short? Oh, no. One of the weirdest things that I've seen... Yeah, I apologize for staying shtick. I'll take it back. Yeah, he just... I became familiar with this man, and... I find it so weird. Also, all of his old TikToks are him picking up his little sister from school and playing like really sexual music, like really, really loud sexual music as like a joke. But she's apparently got herself. She might be losing her job with the IOF, so she might have to join Hamas. Yeah, like he just plays like sexual music with his little sister picking her up from school, which is just weird. Everyone orders 10 cups of water from McDonald's. Wow, so Koreans can't comment on Israeli Instas now. I would like to retract my previous comment and sincerely apologize for calling out Koreans for commenting on Israeli TikToks. Actually, you know what? There are a bunch of crazy...
Let's talk. Let's come to the ring. I'm your best entertainment in Israel. Yo, bro. Come on. You have a lot of bodyguards.
Yeah, that's why I'm leaving tomorrow. It's just...
He also talked about how some Israeli guy was like going to provide him with women to bang, which is just... I'm not showing that. But yeah, he's just... And also, by the way, Clavicular actually had dinner with one of Netanyahu's aides. He's not even made this up. Should probably put a trigger warning for incest. Oh, apologies. I didn't really... Well, I mean, it's just like weird videos. I don't think... I don't know. Maybe I should put a trigger warning. But yeah, it's just sort of weird videos, so I apologize. Next stop is H3 social media influencer. Yeah, you're kind of right about that. So she was groomed into being an influencer, now doing it for genocide. Like, Maybe, but I don't know. I'm Israeli. Well, I'm not Israeli, and this is my For You page.
He couldn't handle the pressure of all the liberal media outlets who are attacking me because I met with Bibi's advisor, right?
By the way, this is actually 100% true. Sorry, the Niebler, you mentioned it. There's Niebler. Chris, this might shock you, but Korea actually has... No, I did know about that, about those apocalyptic, like, Christian cults who love Israel. I remember seeing that video of them crying. Like in it. Netanyahu has AIDS. No, Netanyahu does not have the illness that is AIDS, but Clavicular genuinely did meet with his advisor, who is called Topaz Luck. Which is a crazy name. So this is the guy Clavicular met with, Topaz Luck. This guy is probably a big Clavicular fan. I think what Clavicular goes on to say is somewhat bullshit, but I will show you it.
I had dinner with a couple of people who were, Bibi's advisor, a couple big government people from the United States.
Do you think he had dinner with Mike Huckabee?
Just some tech names as well. And there was a photograph of us at the club after. And then that's why all the media here hates me, because the media doesn't like Bibi, right? And I was fine with talking with one of Bibi's people about looks maxing, how he could looks max. That's what they asked. They said, hey, Bibi's been having a lot of trouble with humanizing himself to the younger generation. They think he's too old and out of shape. Would you want to do like a gym?
This, by the way, is one of the most insane things I've ever heard. Because I actually think this is true. I don't think they wanted him to do looks maxing with Bibi. I don't think Netanyahu, sorry. I don't think that's true, but I do think they asked him to humanize him. I actually do think they asked him to do that. It's pretty insane to think that that's actually a real thing, that Clavicular met with Netanyahu's advisor. And also, by the way, you want to see how out of touch Israel actually is? Well, this guy is just, they're thinking Clavicular might be a good way to humanize Netanyahu. No. He did meet with Topaz Luck, who's Israel's advisor. This is 100% true. Topaz Luck has admitted it. Now, where they differ is Topaz Luck maintains that they just met by chance. Clavicular, unfortunately, maybe you guys are right, and he is just like completely dumb. I just wouldn't give dumbness as an excuse for him not understanding what he's doing. Clavicular said, no, I had dinner with him, I met with him, and Netanyahu was asking me about, how to, like, looks max. That's not true, but yeah.
Dream with him or something like that, and if I had any ideas about, like, his fitness thing, because he's getting into sports or something, and I was like, sure, man, I'd be happy.
The idea that Netanyahu is getting into sports or something at the age of... How old is Netanyahu? He's got prostate cancer and he's like fucking 70? Netanyahu at the age of like, what, 70? 51? 51 plus 26. So he's like 77 or something, and he's just decided to get into sports?
Happy to help. With his gym cell routine. So I said sure. And then, after the picture comes out, all the liberal media in Israel kind of gets mad that I'm talking to him, and starts putting all this press about, how Clav's, an anti-Semite, Clav's this, whatever.
Oh, I wish we could find out more about what the liberal media in Israel is saying.
Because I did some interview.
But yeah,
what I want.
Also, Clavicular, whoever's posted this has decided to put an image of like an ultra-Orthodox or an Orthodox Jewish person. Crazy.
What to say was, I did some interview today, and so I go downstairs, I just wake up, they're spamming my phone, because I guess I slept 5 hours past the interview, but they waited around. And as soon as I put the fucking AirPod in, and this guy starts talking, he starts
Bit of advice: never put the fucking AirPod in.
talking about the whole club thing, of course. And I'm like, really, dude? Like, and he's like, well, you know, why don't you want to talk about it? Your reputation is in shambles, whatever. And I said to him, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, my reputation is damaged because people like you, shitty reporters who, you know, don't want to do anything but get clickbaity titles, want to keep bringing it up instead of the fact that Israel's PR has massively benefited from the fact that I'm here, right?
By the way, I know someone was like, why would you choose this guy? Why do you think they'd choose him? Because, like, this is what my video is going to be about. Clavicular is perfect. Clavicular, like, spends his time being a misogynist, and, like, his stream is literally him going out partying. People will just, these people don't actually, so many people who swirl around him, who've pretended to care about Israel, couldn't give less of a shit about Israel. They're all bigots. They're all bigots who will just drop it as soon as someone shows them otherwise. This guy is there, like, showing how, like, oh, it's like, it's amazing being in Israel. There are loads of women you can sleep with. It's literally what Israel tries to portray to young Jewish people. This government policy by Israel. Like, that's the whole point of Birthright.
The fact that people realize you can actually go clubbing and do relatively normal shit over in Tel Aviv rather than it just...
See, this guy literally streams himself going around Europe just going to clubs. That's the whole thing. It's like, just normalize Israel, make it apolitical, make it boring. He's amazing. He's fantastic for doing Israeli propaganda. He may be like the dumbest, weirdest guy, but like, it's great for Israel.
Being in a complete war zone, right? So that kind of thing happens, and then people are still negative to you here. It almost wants to make you say, well, then I'm not going to come back, you know? It's that's really just what happens. So yeah, that's why I'm leaving. All the liberal media in Israel kind of gets mad that I'm talking to them, and starts putting all this press about, you know, how Clavs, you know, an anti-Semite, Clavs this, whatever, basically just shitting on me. And I'm like, I didn't have to come here, right?
It's another tragic story. It is another tragic story of a poor young man being hounded out of Israel by the liberal media. The liberal media does this so much. They hound people out.
I didn't have to at all. I came here because, you know, obviously Alec invited me and we're going to have a good time. But it's like, it's almost like if you do somewhat, like the goal of being here was, you know, at the end of the day, a little non-political entirely, but it still had some political implication, I guess, because it's during a war, so just even stepping foot in the country is political at the end of the day. I guess it shouldn't be that way.
By the way, it is actually incredible. One of the things you don't realize about steroids is how little you actually look when you don't have them. Like, Clavicular at times looks so muscular. He has no muscle. He has no muscle. Look at that, like, putting your arms in a position like that, he has no muscle at all. And yeah, it's funny. You're right. Israeli media had the guy who was doing like the Sidi Timon torture and like welcomed him on, but Clavicular, that's the red line.
But it's something that at the end of the day was going to benefit them, right? That wasn't why. You know, it's not like anyone paid me to be here, whatever. But so that's something they could have said thank you for and all this shit instead of, you know, doing this.
I don't get how like you can like how you can take all of this stuff and just like all of that muscle can just disappear. Like where you're literally yoked, where you've dedicated so much time to it and it literally just completely disappears.
Hey, Clive, you're the king of Israel. I love you.
But yeah, certainly, you know, the liberal media may have hounded him, but the general Israelis, they love him. They love him.
Hey, Clive, you're the king of Israel. I love you. Clive, let me get a Monk Lizzie, bro, please. Clive, rate me on the BP scale. What does he like being famous by name to class leader? English, please. Clive, you're so sexy. Clive, rate me on the BP scale.
No rating.
Why is everyone here American? It's crazy.
They're not.
Why is everyone here American? Because your country is just settlers from random places in the world. You're Australian.
They're Israeli. What do you mean they're speaking Hebrew?
Okay.
Push-ups now.
Push-ups?
I guess you could use this or like.
No,
I don't know.
if I do push-ups with that, I'm falling.
Try it.
For sure.
Try it.
No, I'm gonna.
All the roids and stop working out intensively. Still, though, the change is dramatic. I know. It's so dramatic. It really is so dramatic. The like changes in size that this man goes through. It really can't be helpful.
And then I had sex with you right after.
I will say, the genre I've stumbled upon by, like, researching Clavicular is just unbelievable. So much tension between Clavicular and his Israeli girlfriend, and he's calling it awesome. Do you think she could be the one? Oh, it really never ends with this guy. But this is also one of the craziest clips as well. Yeah, it is because he stopped doing steroids. That's why.
Go ahead.
Are you self-funding this? Like, who paid for your flights? Who's paying for this?
Those are questions you don't want to ask.
You really have to wonder. Like, Clavicular's saying it once again. He should say, I paid for it. Clavicular has not paid for this. Clavicular has absolutely not paid for this. Clavicular took a private jet there. He's previously mentioned some guy was willing to pay for a private jet to Monaco for him. But yeah, he arrived in a private jet to Israel. He arrived in a private jet,
What's
which
the
is
move in Israel, bro?
Look.
Give a little update.
So that's the company, Arrow Aviation, okay? Arrow Aviation is like a real Israeli charter company. So you can look it up. Could be anyone, could be some Israeli billionaire. This is the worst rabbit hole to be in. I am so interested. He said Alec invited him. When did he say Alec invited him?
That's confidential, you know?
Okay, understood. That's obviously going to raise way more questions, like, with your
Yeah,
audience.
I just said that because it's a viral clip. I actually don't even know.
I can guarantee you that there's no government involved.
This guy here is Yossi Farrow, who is the tefillin rapping rabbi to the stars. He's a Chabad guy from New York, who's like, once again, associated with Bill Ackman.
The other countries hiding that he's a Jew.
He spent his time with people like Daniel Aronovitz of Insight Partners. He posts about Nick Fuentes. Yeah, he's an odd guy. He spends a lot of time with like strange CEOs and stuff, and yeah, I mean, it could be. That's the thing. The reason I'm not saying Peter Thiel is it could literally be anyone. There are so many people that it could be.
Yeah, no, I'm just. Yeah, no government money. Go ahead.
Are you self-funding this? Like, who paid for your...
I don't even think it has to be a government. it has to be. Oh, also, Timer, I'm so sorry to hear that you had a miscarriage. That's awful. I'm sorry to hear. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing okay. But I mean, I think it's probably just some really rich guy. It could be Ackman. It could be all of these other people. It could be so many billionaires who think sending Clavicular to Israel is a good thing. Teal might be a good example. You're right. Teal is someone linked to him, but we'll just see. We'll see. It probably will never emerge though. But yeah, it's really sad that his Clavicular's trip to Israel, that we were all so happy about, that we all loved so much, has ended in such disaster, that the liberal media has kicked him out, that the liberal media has ruined his lives, and that imagine being the average normie in Israel, conversation selling and simping for hours in girls' DMs, and then an influencer geomaxes and mogs you. Wow. So this is why the Haaretz people, Haaretz and whoever's writing negative articles about him, are so sad about geomaxing. He also said he's going to oh. Wait, so he was talking to Olivia Reingold, and he said about Israel, it's a good time. All these women are good looking. Brace Belden of TrueAnon responded, I'd love to hear his thoughts about your unusual chin. Geomaxing is using your passport, I think, by like being from a better country or a country with a stronger passport, if you know what I mean, like a more economically successful thing. It's basically sex tourism, actually, is what it is. Yes, he is the guy with the Tates, both the Tates singing the song. But yeah, Reingold certainly had a great time.
This was Clavicular. Furious.
All you guys are here. It's such a downfall, such a bad idea, but all you guys are here.
Clavicular is the 20-year-old figurehead of looks maxing, the online movement devoted to becoming hotter by almost any means necessary. When he revealed he was in Tel Aviv, his live stream chat erupted almost instantly with messages like "sell out" and "kiss the wall, goy."
Do you know what's really funny is, like, there was a whole outrage about, like, how racist fucking, like, TikTok is, which TikTok just isn't that. But this guy is literally just, she just makes no mention of, like, that chat just being, like, anti-Semitic.
His manosphere peers began asking whether he'd been captured by shadowy Israeli forces. So I called him. Clavicular told me the trip wasn't political. Israel was simply trending, and therefore, in his words, an undeniably good idea. And he also said that the country was nothing like what people are saying it is on TikTok. And what exactly
By the way, whoever made this point of her wanting to be an influencer, this woman really just was desperate to become an influencer and totally failed until Barry Weiss was like, yeah, here's some money to deny genocide. You might know too much about this, Chris. Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually going to be quite an interesting video about, like, Israeli propaganda. I think it's a good idea. I think, once again, you kind of have to hop onto this stuff and use it to talk about something bigger. You know, and I think this is a great opportunity. I like, gauge that from my Twitter that, you know, hundreds, millions of people saw that tweet and liked it. Like, it's a little joke, but yeah, like, I think people want to listen to this, and it's a great opportunity to talk about people doing propaganda.
has impressed him the most? The women. All these women are good looking, he told me. So far, he spent the trip shopping in Tel Aviv.
Okay. Partying
and is planning an event at a local gym for Monday. Honestly, I think that this is a pretty progressive outlook in which he is an equal opportunity partier. He says he's there because it's kind of fun, and the women are beautiful, according to him.
No, what the fuck is going on with this lady's childhood?
So, Again, he says it's not about politics. It's about having a good time. And he says he's having one in Israel.
I did find some Substack page that was talking about like some link between Clavicular and Peter Thiel, but the links are shaky. He did invite him to a party, you guys mentioned that, but he said he didn't go because he didn't want to get diddied. I don't think this necessarily is Thiel. There are plenty of strange Israeli billionaires, but this guy's not paying for a private jet, by the way. No doubt Clavicular makes a lot of money, but I highly doubt he's making enough to justify flying like a $10,000 charter jet. Chartered private jet. He did make a good point, which some of you should kind of listen to. The only people excited for GTA 6 are jesters who are IRL losers. Great point. If you're excited about GTA 6, you're a jester IRL loser. I mean, also, like, by the way, when we're trying to guess who he's doing this with, look at this. Hey, would Elon be open to an X-exclusive stream with me on Luxmaxing? So it would seem that Nikita Beer who's like one of the key figures in X, has like a direct line with Clavicular. So like, there are so many people this would be. That's why I wouldn't invest so much in it being, invest so much in the notion that it's fucking, I don't know, that it's basically, that it's specifically, that it's specifically Thiel. It could be Thiel. It could well be Thiel. But who fucking knows? Who knows whether it's fucking Peter Thiel? Hold on. Let me see. I'm sure that...
Back in the mid-2000s, a lot of Windows software didn't support Arabic properly unless you had a Middle East video. Zohan's walking on a beach and we see a number of bikini-wearing women...
So Yusuf Abdul Hussein just had on the No Politic Here podcast. Check it out. He's talking here about something which I think bears mentioning for this Clavicular stuff. It's actually particularly poignant. This is his video about the Zohan, which we could actually watch at some point. I feel like it'll be a great video to watch.
Talking at him. Ah, okay. Let me explain this to you. This movie has either been influenced by, or I speculate, directly funded by the Make Israel Sexy propaganda campaign.
Look. Israel, this whole thing of like, this is why I want to talk about this. It's pretty obvious that, like, Clavicular is there for, like, a propaganda thing. He's, like, a propaganda thing. Oh, also, by the way, yeah, Elon actually is a Luxmaxer. No, I know, Sarah Jessica. I see what you're saying, but, like, yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. It could be any of them. It could be any of these people. Only game allowed is FPV drone simulator. Oh, so you're getting into practicing drone flying. That's fair enough.
In 2005, Israel announced it was withdrawing from the Gaza Strip, while it removed its settlements and permanent...
Hello, Shamu. Hope you're good. I'm actually going to note this down for my video. Make Israel Sexy campaign by Yusuf Abdul Hussein. This is like part of what it is. They want to attract loads of young Luxmaxing kind of people. And by the way, not all of the people associated with Clavicular are like as kind of mad into Luxmaxing. A lot of them just want to sleep with women, and he makes it look like going to Israel. Oh my God, there's pretty women everywhere. Oh, and by the way, this is actually the point, by the way. Once you make connections with people like, once you make connections with people who are like, Israeli soldiers, and you form like relationships, personal or maybe sexual as well, you start to worry about them and you develop like a different feeling towards Israel, especially if you're apolitical. By the way, I'm pretty confident this is true. Birthright Israel does not give free trips to anyone who has had rabbinical training. They actually refuse it. They only want people who, like, this, by the way, I might actually, if I'm to make another Ethan Klein video, I'm going to turn my old video that I made on TikTok into one about Birthright. Birthright is like so interesting because they literally want people who don't know shit about Israel. That's what they're doing with this. Like this is the same fucking shit. This is the same shit. They want young men to go to Israel and be like, damn, look at all these hot chicks. That's what they're appealing to, okay? That's the whole purpose of this.
And a military presence inside Gaza, it continued to control Gaza's borders, airspace, coastline, and many aspects of movement in and out. Because of that, many human rights groups and legal scholars argue the occupation effectively continued. Most called it what it was, an open-air prison. Israel's image had taken a major hit. For decades, people had seen photos of heavily armed Israeli soldiers facing poor Palestinians with little more than rocks. Those images shaped how much of the world viewed the conflict, and it still does today. So Israel launched a massive public relations campaign. It spent millions trying to rebrand itself. Don't think about war, think about beaches, think about nightlife, think about freedom, and most of all,
link please. What do you want a link to? The video? Or you want a link to the video? This video?
think about our beautiful Israeli women. The campaign leaned on sexualized marketing that objectified women to make Israel seem modern, liberal, and exciting. One person you may have heard who has been associated with the campaign is actor Gal Gadot. She served in the Israeli military and won Miss Israel in 2004. She was hand-selected in 2007 to appear on the cover of Maxim. This was part of the magazine's Women of the Israeli Army feature. She later scored roles in Hollywood despite having zero acting talent.
Hillel, no! I need you to give me the stone!
I call her an Israeli plant. Zohan fits neatly into the same rebranding effort. It tries to sell Israel as cool, sexy.
Yep, one. I also think, by the way, Clavicular, by the way, so I spent ages watching a fucking Clavicular stream about this, okay? It's on Kick. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to, but he actually talks about how he actually talks about like why he's doing it. He says that it's maintaining he maintains that he's the most viral person in the world. By the way, I actually think it's kind of funny because, like, Israel probably played into his delusions of grandeur. Israel plays into delusions of grandeur. Like, of him being so influential. And, like, the way he was talking, like, yeah, Israel definitely wants him there, but,
and progressive to a liberal audience, but it doesn't work. It keeps...
Keep watching anti-Israel propaganda that is funded by Qatar. What? What are you talking about? Do you think that Yusuf Abdul Hussein is funded by Qatar?
Objectifying women in ways that feel more creepy than clever. And trust me, we're just getting started with that when it comes to the movie. Zohan is playing hacky sack on the beach. Then, for some reason, the movie cuts to a woman in a bikini staring at him in awe. It's trying to make hacky sack, a sport usually associated with dorks, look cool. It's also trying to make a guy who looks like a total nerd seem irresistible. I don't get it. He grabs the hacky sack between his butt cheeks. Zohan is naked. Whoa. It's just a funny gag because nudity is illegal on Israeli beaches. But they're trying to present to you, hey, look, Israel beaches are so open and free. One of the women's...
It's, to be fair, you want to, you know, if we're talking about what Israel has become, there is a point to be made that now they're looking at people like Clavicular rather than like other really, really, really famous people, you know. Then this is just where they've ended up with just fucking Clavicular as like the last person.
Fucking take your watch, bro. Who's the maids aren't gonna fucking take your watch, bro.
They're not gonna take your watch. Bro. No one like steals shit here in Israel.
You're safe. I'm safe.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
I swear this is the one place you can leave something and it won't get stolen.
What about Gaza?
That's the next stop.
Oh yeah, we're
Talking about objects.
She's they were joking about like the killing of people in Gaza. Oh god, the whole thing is just one of the most insane things. I guess I'll keep it for the video, the rest of the stuff that I've got to say. But I've said a lot of it, but I think people will enjoy it. It's just, this is crazy that this is just sort of what's going on in the world right now. That this is the most important news story happening. There's nothing else in happening. Was founded by 2 members of the mega group. Oh yeah, you mentioned this. Is it? I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. They're appealing to the insecure young male class, the ones most likely to grow into conservative men, to control their families and lead communities. Yep. As much as I dislike Zohan, I have to admit he does look quite hot. Jesus, Casium. She's repeating UAE propaganda, the no one steals here thing. I know. That's such funny propaganda as well. You know the funniest thing about the UAE as well is the UAE fucking loves crime, by the way. The UAE absolutely loves criminals. Some of the worst criminals just hang around in the UAE. Loads of the Kinahan cartel is there. Daniel Kinahan's there. There's another one of the a Kinahan cartel guy has just been playing like boxing. No, he's been doing some kind of pickleball or something there. It's actually, the United Arab Emirates is a place rife with like international crime and just really repugnant murder and stuff, but it's all like kind of professionalized stuff that they just sort of let happen. Well, they don't just sort of let it happen. They actively support it and enable it. I don't know. I don't think the Kinahan cartel are into W crime. Lindsey Graham beating on the inside of his coffin to go back to Israel and party with Clavicular. I had to inform someone that the RSF are funded by the UAE. I know. The Assad clan visited. Assad's wife was apparently there, like not even long ago. Not long ago at all. The UAE even, by the way, the UAE even sort of like money launders for the Islamic Republic. It does a lot of the Islamic Republic's money laundering. Iran's. It's crazy. Have no crime, but it's all hidden within families. Yeah, 100%. That's kind of the point of a lot of Lynch's stuff, right? Like, Lynch's stuff is kind of all about, like, the dark underbelly of American society. I saw the Sanaa stuff. We're going to talk about that. Don't worry. We'll do a bit of Iran war stuff for, like, the next hour and a half, I think. We'll see. But we will definitely be doing that. Like, what kind of propaganda do they deploy through their Israeli movies? I'll make a video about that. The Kinahans are mentioned in the WikiLeaks cables. Are they? Kinahan. If you guys don't know who the Kinahan cartel are, look into them. Kinahan cartel WikiLeaks. Oh, it's just saying someone's connected to him. I don't have enough time to read through that, so I'm not going to just make any assertions right now. But yeah, I saw that Sanaa was bombed. They laundered money for Hezbollah. Did they? What, the UAE? Or the Kinahans? The shoot and cry genre with Waltzing with Bashir. 100%. London City. Oh yeah, I don't doubt that London engages in that. I don't doubt that happens in London at all. Huge amounts of like Russian oligarchs are there that have like massive properties that are like, yeah, these people are definitely financial criminals. It's just like the perception of London is much more that like it's awesome because there's no like, it's bad because there's like street crime. Are you guys going to sit there and wait until you can't even say Palestine to jail for 50 years? Are you going to let them take your speech? Mate, I don't even know what is to be done. I'm going to be honest. I actually have no idea what the answer to that question is. I mean, I'll talk about it as much as I can, but I don't even know if I can fucking change it. You're right. It is fucking scary. I mean, I will say America's headed in that genre, that direction, but it's not headed as quickly as we are. The UK is just going closer and closer towards that. A global transnational syndicate that is actively allied with the Lebanese. I did not know that the Kinahans were allied with them. La Boubou. Worrying about... hey, Lemon Mint Cat, thank you for the $5. Worrying about getting your watch stolen, mocking East Asian housekeepers as thieves, and Palestinians in Gaza are thieves when IOF are stealing millions. Yeah, like, literally also, one of the crazy things about the IOF is, like, they do just engage in, like, just straight up looting and robbery. It's not even just that, like, they, like, completely love robbing people, that they completely love robbing people all of the time. They just like robbing people on like an individual level in looting, and they've been doing it for decades. They did it hugely during the invasion of Lebanon in the 1980s, and they still do it to this day. They just rob people's homes. It's not even just like, you know, what we normally associate Israeli theft with, of stealing people's homes, but yeah. What about Iran killing 30,000 of their own people for protesting, and Iran killing gay people for being gay? Same in Gaza, throw people off building for being gay. Well, by the way, the second part of that, there's definitely no proof of. The first part of that, about 30,000 being killed, probably not true. I would say that there's like a very low likelihood that that is true at all. However, the Iranians definitely killed their own protesters, but what's that gonna change? Like, I'm not an advocate for the Islamic Republic of Iran. I never have been. Like, well, what's your point? Well, what's your actual point? I don't really understand why you're just sort of saying that. Steven Gerrard has links to the Kinahans. Fucking hell. I did not know that. Everyone seems to know the bloody Kinahans. Everyone loves the Kinahans. I think also, by the way, if that 30,000 number was true, we'd have actually seen the reporting to back it up. There isn't any reporting. It was just claimed by Western media outlets. They just claimed it. And the notion that, yeah, Palestinians threw people off roofs, that was something that the Islamic State did in Iraq, I think, is the only proof of that happening. Maybe in Syria too. I also, yeah, I don't think that there's, I really don't think that, like, the Islamic State in Gaza might do it. It's like the Islamic State, like, all of these people always bring up that guy who, was killed. He's Italian, I forget his name. He went to Gaza and they're like, this is what happens when you go to Palestine. That's what Jewish Jess says. But, like, the thing is he was killed by the Islamic State, and actually Hamas straight away launched a massive crackdown to hunt down his killers. Kind of mad that we have fed propaganda about countries like China imprisoning people for any and all political speech, but I'm significantly more likely to go to jail in the UK for expressing my views. Yep. I mean, yep, it's quite likely that you will go to prison for expressing your views here. And all of the stuff about, like, social credit that we grew up with and all of that codswallop. It's like, just that exists here, but you don't see it because they're not, you know, it's not the Asians doing it, so we don't care. Should all be speaking Russian and English after 1945. Vittorio Arrigoni, thank you for sending that. I couldn't remember his name. Don't even entertain the thought they might. If they did, Israel wouldn't stop showing it. No, I just actually don't doubt that the Islamic State, it's like an Islamic State thing. Coffee Addict, hello. Have you seen Goldie Gamari? We actually watched that at the start, mate, of her crying over the AI generated lion and sun pic. That's one of the most insane things I've ever missed. The UK just designated the Islamic Republic, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as terrorists, so expressing support for them is now illegal. But the Palestine Action stuff is the massive crackdown. But yeah, by the way, in the time that I've been streaming, some pretty significant things have happened. So first of all, they've shut down, the US is blockading the Strait of Hormuz again, so that's interesting. And Saudi Arabia, this is also, by the way, this is a news story that is pretty significant. So now, I don't trust Al Jazeera on this, I'm going to be honest. Al Jazeera is claiming that the Yemeni government did this. It was much more likely to be that the so Al Jazeera claimed it was the Yemeni government.
Return to the
but
breaking.
Other outlets are claiming that it's Saudi Arabia who did this. So in case you missed it, well, we could watch this because it's worth listening to.
News we were bringing you just moments ago.
Actually, we'll do this after because it's quite important. Oh, that's going to play, so I better be careful.
Out of Yemen, where the international recognized government says it had targeted the runway.
Basically, an Iranian government plane was going to land in Iran. Yeah. What are you saying? Listen, I am from Israel. I agree with you that 21,000 Palestinian women dying is horrible, but the media do more than they don't talk and... If you're Israeli and you don't live in the UK, I'm going to say it, you don't have any understanding of what's going on in the UK. If you actually think Western media is biased on the whole in favor of Palestinians, you are genuinely suffering from some kind of delusion. I'm being straight up serious here. You know that, like, I think that there's a, what's his name? Johnson? His name is something Johnson? Adam Johnson has written a whole book about this that is not just like his feelings and thoughts. It is straight up just citing actual behavior of government institutions. Like, look at this, okay? So the Atlantic, a big outlet, they have not run an article on the killing of Anas al-Sharif, Refat al-Ariya, and his with his brother, sister, and 4 nephews, etc. 200 plus journalists, no articles. I'm sure they've run many pro-Israel articles. In fact, I know they have. Islamophobia versus anti-Semitism. This is how many times the New York Times... Anti-Semitism is mentioned 400 times. I'm sorry. Like, seriously, if you are Israeli and you think that Western media is somehow treating the Palestinians well, you are living in a delusional bubble. Like, you live in somewhere that is, like, actually fucking... You are not living in a reality, okay? Like, you are not living in reality. Pro-Israel Jews/Christians in the West believe Western media is heavily biased towards Palestine. I know. But the point I think that is worth making is there is absolutely no proof of that being a real thing. They seize on one article, one mistake, and they go, oh my God. This shows you that Western media, they just lie about Israel. They hate the Jews. It's like 1948. Oh my God. Anti-Semitism on campus 1 billion times. And the thing is that they will never ever reckon with the fact of, like, media is so evidently biased of what Israel has done. They are so biased in favor of it. They are so biased to support it.
At Sana'a Airport to prevent an Iranian plane from landing. Sana'a Airport, of course, under the control of the Houthis. A delegation from the Ansarullah Houthi group was returned.
But it is just gaslighting. It's a complete and utter fucking joke. Like, it's just, like, not believing in... It's this problem of, like, we talked about this with Zach Foster. Once you begin with such a big lie about people being indigenous based on 1,000-year-old history, to deny what's actually happening to Palestinians in reality in real time and to justify it, okay? Once you begin with a lie that big, where it ends up is just living utterly in a fictitious land.
Returning from Tehran after the funeral of Iran's supreme leader. Now the Houthis control the capital, Sana'a, while the internationally recognized government based in Aden controls most of the rest of the country. Let's get more on this now from Yusuf Mauri. He joins us from Sana'a. So, Yusuf, is the Yemeni government explaining why it felt it was important to try and stop this plane from landing at this point in time when there are tensions between Saudi Arabia and Iran, not only over Yemen, but over the conflict, the wider conflict that's going on in the region?
Well, according to the Yemeni government, backed by Saudi Arabia, they believe that this Iranian plane is violating Yemen's sovereignty by landing in Sana'a International Airport. The Yemeni government has declared the Ansarullah movement, the Sana'a government, as a terrorist organization that is not recognized internationally, and therefore any flights directed to Sana'a International Airport, according to the Saudi-backed Yemeni government, are in clear violation of Yemeni airspace, which, according...
Yep, 100% the censorship of Palestine. And, like, because the reason that the censorship of Palestine had to happen as well is because, the reason that censorship had to happen, like, non-stop is because no one watches pro-Israel videos.
Two government officials forced them to take such drastic actions. Now, the Sana'a government, the Ansar Allah Houthi government, has issued a statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, backed by Ansar Allah. They have declared that this operation was
Oh, and also, by the way, this is kind of the thing of like how this is kind of the thing of like Yemen was blockaded, and all of these people try and make out that like the Iranians give the like Ansar Allah everything they need to exist. No, they don't. How would they get it in? Like, sure, they can get some stuff in. Also, by the way, funny shorts G2O. Right. I listen, in my side, I get Instagram or TikTok, and everything I see is anti-Israel. They don't explain my side, and listen when in October the 7th, Hamas invaded Israel and killed 1,200 innocent people just living. What? Like, what is that supposed to change about my politics around Palestine? Israel was invading Palestinian land prior to October the 7th. They were refusing even, like, this two-state solution. They refused it because they didn't want it. Like, yeah, I'm what's the expectation? What's the expectation? Like, this whole thing of, like, how Israel treated Palestinians, where did you think it was going to end up? The Israelis are the ones who choose military solutions every single time. Also, by the way, this is why Al Jazeera is just like just shit on this kind of stuff. Like, Al Jazeera's reporting here is not great.
Conducted by Saudi Arabia, and they hold Saudi Arabia fully responsible for the strikes that took place in Sana'a International Airport, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And they also declare that the 4-year of ceasefire that was signed between the Sana'a government and Saudi Arabia, it is no longer in effect because of these attacks, which they say is in clear violation of the ceasefire agreement that was signed in 2022 between Ansar Allah and Saudi Arabia. That ceasefire stipulated that both sides would relinquish launching attacks. Saudi Arabia would no longer launch attacks using its fighter jets, and the Ansar Allah Houthi group would no longer launch ballistic missiles. That is in jeopardy, and it's no longer in effect. Many are expecting that there will be retaliation, not necessarily just against the Yemeni government backed by Saudi Arabia, but against Saudi Arabia itself. And just a couple of weeks ago, we had Ansar Allah officials declare that if Saudi Arabia violates the ceasefire agreement, then their airports, Saudi airports, are going to be susceptible to ballistic missiles launched from Yemen. So this is a very critical situation that we are in right now. It's no surprise that the Sana'a International Airport was attacked. It's also comes to no surprise that the airport in Hodeidah has come under attack. And in fact, we had an unprecedented situation where the Iranian airliner that was attempting to land at Sana'a International Airport, it could no longer land on the taxi of the airport.
Because it's just fucking crazy that they're just allowed to do this. That's why it's so, like, crazy. Like, I feel like also, the Al Jazeera are the only people who I've really said that, say that this was actually not done by the Saudis and that it was done by the, that it was done specifically by the Yemeni government, and also that, like, you know, they're not surprised this happened. It is quite surprising that they're willing to do this.
Because it was attacked with 2 airstrikes. But
and also not mentioning, like, the blockade in Yemen.
But after that, the Iranian airliner, it tried to divert and land at the airport in Hodeidah. That was also attacked. So it is currently flying over Yemeni skies, trying to find an airport to land in. It can't land in Aden Airport because that's considered by the Ansar Allah Houthis as enemy territory. According to the reports, we don't know yet if the Iranian airliner has yet landed at the Hodeidah airport, because there's reports that it has also come under attack by a couple of airstrikes. And if this Iranian airliner is not able to land in Hodeidah airport, it's only going to lead to further escalation, and we can only wait and see what will come of that.
So, Yusuf, listening to what you're saying there, basically, are we now on the lookout to see if the Yemen conflict escalates and whether Yemen becomes another front in the multiple fronts burning across the region right now?
Saudi Arabia probably feeling braver because of the defense deal with Pakistan. I mean, it's just this long-term problem of like they'd been sort of reconciling with Ansar Allah. They'd been reconciling with them for a while or trying to build relationships with them. And they seem to have changed tack, probably because of just this major threat to the shipping there.
Now, from what's going on over the Strait of Hormuz with Iran and the US, the situation in Lebanon, and so on and so forth.
It's going to be the new front, and perhaps it could encompass the entire region, especially with what's happening in Iran. And I say that because, as I mentioned, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs operated by the Ansar Allah movement, they're holding Saudi Arabia accountable. They're saying that this was an operation conducted with the backing of Saudi Arabia, which means that Saudi Arabia is going to come under attack according to, by the ballistic missiles and by the hypersonic missiles that is in the possession of the Ansar Allah Houthi movement. It's only a matter of time before we see, according to Ansar Allah officials and according to recent history, as it has shown us before, the Yemeni group has hypersonic missiles. They're able to launch these hypersonic missiles across the region. We've seen them target Israeli airports. We've seen them target Israeli ports. We've seen them in the past target Saudi airports.
Ansar Allah said the ceasefire was over with the Saudis. Did they?
Airports and Saudi Aramco oil facilities. And this is exactly what the Yemeni group said that they're going to do. As repercussions for this attack on Sana'a International Airport, we can expect to see Saudi airports come under attack, and we can expect the Yemeni group, the Ansar Allah movement, to launch attacks against Aramco oil facilities and Aramco oil pipelines, as we've seen them do in the past. And of course, this is
the major issue. If this just continues escalating, you could see what you didn't last time, which is even more disruption to the oil. Even more disruption to the oil.
Going to result into a drastic increase of fuel and diesel derivatives across the entire globe, especially if they decide to also close Bab al-Mandab. But if this is a conflict that's isolated between the Sana'a Ansar Allah Houthi government and Saudi Arabia, without Israel or without the U.S. Playing a military role in aiding Saudi Arabia, if it gets to that point, then perhaps this could be an isolated incident, situation, an isolated war between Saudi Arabia and the Ansar Allah movement. But many experts fear that it's going to spill and it's going to involve Israel.
Also, by the way, Iran would probably want to restrain the Ansar Allah, but they might not be able to. Did Brent actually just hit 80?
It's going to involve countries like the U.S. who have played a critical role in aiding Saudi Arabia to try to get rid or to try to topple the grip of the Ansar Allah movement from their control over Sana'a and over the territories that they are currently controlling. They control about 17 Yemeni provinces, and that's something that Saudi Arabia is trying to bring an end to with the help, of course, of the internationally recognized Yemeni government.
And that's Yusuf Mauri reporting to...
Like, also, the whole thing is like, if you're like actually an Israeli, like, you can actually just sit there and advocate and support, like, Palestinians. Not in this wishy-washy way of still doing Israeli propaganda. Like, sitting there and trying to make change. Like, people can criticize Andre X if they really want to. Andre X is someone who moved there not long ago. Andre X does, like, actively go into the West Bank, and I know many people online will have stuff to say about that, and there are things to criticize and talk about. But go and talk to Palestinians who actually live there, and I'm sure many of them are like, yeah, we appreciate having someone here documenting and trying to make it clear to the international community what is actually happening. But the thing is most Israelis don't give a shit. They just talk about fake notions of peace. They just try and come up with these false claims. They try and manipulate history to change it so that they have a right to ethnically cleanse people.
This all is
also this thing here. Trump reinstates blockade and plans a 20% passage fee. Let's call it half a dozen. And unfortunately, you're right. It is an incredibly small number of people in Israel who actually do anything. It always goes back to the same problem of like trying to legitimize Zionism, when it's like, no, Palestinians were the victims of this. Their society and, culture, history has increasingly been eliminated by the state of Israel. Like, that's what Israel has done. It has eliminated Palestinians' lives and their history and their culture. I, as a Palestinian, appreciate and befriend liberal Zionists because I understood that washing away childhood propaganda will be difficult and slow. But honestly, either agree to the dissolution of the apartheid state and grant me right of return or nothing. Yeah,
I love
100%.
burgers!
Oh, Johnson, thank you for subscribing at tier 1. Thank you for supporting the Twitch channel. Most Israelis fear of Arabs since October the 7th because there has been so many Arabs coming in and stabbing people, doing this intifada. I'm sorry, once again, do you not see the problem, right? Okay. Like, the first intifada was largely non-violent. It was your country that responded to the intifada by just abusing and harming Palestinians. The second intifada became much more militarized as a result of that. Israel has closed off any diplomatic attempts to establish a two-state solution. They do not care, put simply, so they are not going to accept this. And this whole nation of saying, this whole notion, excuse me, of just being like, well, we have a right to be scared since October the 7th. You were doing it before October the 7th to Palestinians, you know? Like, yeah. You know, like, doing this intifada thing is, like, really funny description.
Clearly rooted in a lack of common understanding between the U.S. and Iran over what exactly the state of Hormuz is after that MOU went into effect. President Trump now saying this morning that the U.S. Will reimpose the blockade that had been on Iranian ports during the heat of the war. This had been one of the last remaining components of the memorandum that had remained intact. And so you can see how this agreement is now coming apart piece by piece. The president wrote on Truth Social that we are reinstating the Iranian blockade, so named because it is only stopping Iran's ships or customers from entering or leaving. And then he says that all other countries will have fair and open.
Also, I don't think that necessarily you could say that the Nazis were less bloodthirsty than the Israelis. Like, the Nazis were very, 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 very fucking bloodthirsty. The Nazis were incredibly bloodthirsty. And that is the whole thing. Like, being Israeli, you have quite a strong passport. You can move to other places if you really want to. In fact, historically, I think you can move. I don't know if you could move to Germany if you're Polish. I don't know if Poland has the same thing. We literally watched a video a few weeks ago about how Germany is offering people back. And by the way, I think European countries should reflect and they should actually welcome people back and apologize for what they did and what happened to Jewish people in their countries.
Use of the strait. And then he goes on to say that the U.S. will be imposing a 20%.
Yeah, like the Nazis were like, you know, in terms of the crimes that they perpetrated, obviously they were worse than Israelis. You know, they killed millions and millions and millions of people. Yeah, millions and millions of people.
Fee on all cargo shipped. It's not clear who will be paying that fee, whether it's the shippers or whether it's countries who are allowing ships to go through, and that the U.S. will help navigate this waterway for this fee. Now, the president was on Fox News a little bit before he posted this on social media, expanding some.
By the way, this is the most insane thing imaginable. The most insane thing imaginable. The fact that they're just now like talking about the fact that they're just talking about imposing a 20% fee. Like, that's going to cause the same problem for people who are trying to ship ship things into trying to ship things. Like, it's awful. It's awful. I can't believe that Trump has reimposed this. It's going to have disastrous effects for the global economy. Absolutely disastrous.
What on this idea of fees being imposed? Listen to what he said there.
We've had 10 deals with these people, and so we're just going to hit them very hard. And we're going to keep the strait, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the strait. And we should be reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy. They're on our side. And we can't be expected to do that for nothing, unlike we had for many years. You know, if we We guarded the strait for 50 years more, and we never got paid for it. They made all the money, and the United States was just, not. They wouldn't. It's amazing. It's we never made. We guarded it for nothing. And now we're going to guard it, and we're going to get paid for guarding it.
Now, this idea of the U.S. charging fees in the waterway is something of a break from the administration's previous stance. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, just said a few months ago that this was an international waterway and that no country is allowed to charge tolls or fees on an international waterway. It's all part of this escalating standoff. You've already seen the price of oil start ticking back up. How the president plans to sort of extricate the U.S. and himself from this, I think at this point remains unclear.
It does seem that there is.
I don't know. It is just incredibly worrying that this could just kick back off. That this is kicking back off.
It's a scramble to try to restart mediation efforts. At least that was the case on the weekend. We did see Oman's foreign minister meeting with his Iranian counterpart in Oman, according to officials, trying to come to some sort of agreement on a mechanism for joint control over the Strait of Hormuz that would allow for vessels to travel safely through the key shipping route. But that, according to an Iranian foreign ministry spokesperson, has come to nothing, saying this deal that had been discussed at some level was not achieved due to the overt and covert pressure of the United States on Oman. And that pressure clearly is only ramping up. As you mentioned, Zain, we are seeing those attacks not only now targeting parts of southern Iran close to the Strait of Hormuz, but they are appearing to be moving deeper. And we have had some pretty stark warnings from Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson today. Take a listen.
Seeking justice and avenging the blood of the martyred leader and every Iranian who was injured or killed during the U.S. and Israeli military attacks is a fundamental principle and a demand shared by the public. The state has a clear responsibility in this regard. The foreign ministry is part of this process. At the international level, we will use every available legal and international mechanism, both to document these crimes and to pursue justice.
Now, in recent days, the U.S. Central Command has said that it has struck hundreds of targets. We saw at least 140 targets in Iran struck overnight Saturday into Sunday, according to the Central Command. And of course, as you mentioned, Zain, those strikes are continuing today into the afternoon local time in Iran. But in response, Iran has also been carrying out attacks targeting Gulf nations, allies of the United States, and military infrastructure in the region.
By the way, someone in here yesterday kept saying that U.S. soldiers have been killed. Apparently, that's just completely unconfirmed.
Region purportedly allied to the US military as well. Just today we've heard from Kuwait and Jordan again saying that they have intercepted or detected missiles coming from Iran. The fear is that this will only continue, perhaps accelerate over the coming days, and that this may in fact detour all sorts of efforts at this current point to try to mediate a resumption to that memorandum of understanding, which of course for those parties to the memorandum of understanding, the hope was that that would lead to a lasting ceasefire agreement to be hammered out. But at this stage, it appears we are heading in a very different direction.
In the past, you've described the war with Iran as an existential fight, and you have warned that limited engagement will not force Iran to make concessions. Is that what we're witnessing right now?
Good to be with you, Wolf. I hate being, there's only one thing worse than being a false prophet. It's being an accurate prophet. I think I speak for most Israelis in assessing that the MOU, the memorandum.
This guy's American. This guy's like just straight up American. Also, by the way, the major issue is like the memorandum of understanding was signed, and the Americans obviously just kept on lying, and they were not going to negotiate in good faith.
Of understanding signed between the United States and Iran wouldn't result in an actual agreement between the two countries, that Iran would violate the agreement, certainly interpret it completely different, that the absolute maximum that the Iranians were willing to concede was far below the minimum that the United States was willing to accept, and that eventually the Iranians would try to precipitate some type of fight with the United States. There's sort of this scuttlebutt around it that the president wanted to drag his feet until after the November.
I wouldn't call it can anyone understand strategy? No, there is no strategy from the US government. That's the major problem. How on earth are you gonna fucking understand something that literally has no strategy? There is no sense, there is no logic to any of this. This is all just trying something that didn't work a few months ago. They're trying to bomb Iran into accepting giving up the Strait of Hormuz, which the Iranians are not going to do, because all you need to do to control the Strait of Hormuz is to fire a drone. That's it. That's all you've got to do. And the US cannot destroy that.
Elections, well, that's assuming that the Iranians are stupid and just going to sit there and do nothing. No, they do just what they're trying to do now, is pick a fight and get oil prices to rise, which would then impair the president and his party's chances of winning in November.
Both the U.S. and Iran are accusing the other of violating what's called the Memorandum of Understanding, the MOU. Are negotiations even possible, you think, Ambassador, at this point?
Negotiations are possible, by the way. Here's a tip for the Americans. Once again, stop outsourcing your Iran policy to this weird little genocidal state.
I think negotiations are possible. I don't think either country necessarily wants to go back to full-scale war. Certainly the United States does not want to, not at this stage, before those elections. And as oil prices have already started to rise in the United States, no, I think they want to keep a level of violence, a low flame, and keep the option for negotiations open. The president has said, "I'm going to strike hard. I'm going to reimpose the blockade on the straits. I'm going to take tolls for cargo going through the straits, but I'm open for negotiation." And I wouldn't be surprised, Wolf, if this doesn't blow up entirely, that in the next couple of days you're going to see various actors, the Pakistanis, the Turks, calling for everybody to go back to the negotiating table. Meanwhile, Israel is going to remain on very, very high alert. The entire country's on high alert today for the possibility of renewed all-out warfare.
While I have you, Ambassador, I want to ask you about that incident involving U.S. Congressman Ro Khanna. He says Israel Defense Forces joined Israeli settlers to blockade him for more than an hour during a trip to the West Bank. The IDF denies that the soldiers took part in blocking the road. Ro Khanna is...
By the way, all of the dumbass Israeli propagandists are now coming out and claiming that actually it's awesome and acceptable for Israel to do this because Ro Khanna tried to go into a closed Israeli military zone, and it's just like, that is literally just being designated so they can do ethnic cleansing, right? Like, that's why Israel is doing that. They're not doing it for any other reason, okay? It's not some normal thing to be doing. They're doing that so they can ethnically cleanse.
Calling on the Israeli government to prosecute the soldiers and the settlers. What would you like to see happen?
I would think just in general. Listen, again, I'm not a spokesman for the Israeli government right now. I think what is widely seen in the world is settler violence is not acceptable. It's causing a tremendous damage to the country in terms of certainly our public diplomacy. And I would like to see a far, far stronger hand in curbing that violence. I don't know what the details of what happened with Congressman Rahana. I don't. And it should be investigated, certainly. But we're dealing with a far broader problem here of a certain breakdown of Israeli law and control in Judea and Samaria, as we call it, the West Bank. And that is causing us immense harm.
I love how he's like, I'm against settler violence, but let me use this biblical term which justifies Israel's right to ethnically cleanse and steal the land. I'm just going to go run and pee. I'll be back very shortly. I'll be back in like a minute. So I'll see you in a second. Huh. Do people still trust Yank politicians? Not really. Not many people here probably are big fans of American politicians. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna get real with you. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. Just all of this stuff with the like Iran related stuff is fucking troubling, and it could escalate to just, I don't know. And there's been this whole fucking propaganda as well. I haven't really looked into this story much, but yeah. Do you have any condolences to the nation of Qatar on the passing of Emir of Qatar? Crazy that he died the same. I mean, he was a monarch in Qatar. Like, I don't know. I don't really care that much about monarchies, I guess. I don't know. If Qataris are sad, yeah. Yeah. Okay. But I'm just, yeah, I'm not that big on monarchies. I'll be real with you.
So back with the latest in the Middle East, the United States conducting a fresh round of strikes against Iran in an attempt to counter Tehran's aggression in the Strait of Hormuz. Let's go live to Tel Aviv where Mike Tobin has the details. Good morning, Mike.
I always find it sad when we go live to Tel Aviv and it isn't my boy. It isn't my boy. What's the name of that guy?
Good morning, Lawrence. The latest in the back and forth with struggle for control over the Strait of Hormuz has Iran once again firing on its neighbors. Jordan, Oman, Bahrain, and Kuwait all took fire. The Kuwait is saying that border crossings, even
Trey Yingst. It's not Trey Yingst.
Oil rig were hit out there. There's been a lot of social media traffic suggesting that U.S. service members were injured in Kuwait. Those reports are not true. But this follows another round of U.S. strikes inside of Iran. There may be some fresh reporting today about new strikes. The U.S. says everything from missile launching sites.
Like this is the whole thing, right? Of why it's so hard to follow is because there's like massive strikes every day, but then like just kind of nothing happens. Like nothing happens, and it kind of stays the same of just like continuing attacks over and over again from both Iran and then also from the US government. And there's also a video of actually, you know what, before we watch this propaganda about Trump being killed, let's watch this real quick. This is a video from Trita Parsi talking about oil stocks being low.
Right. This was intended, as it's worth bearing in mind, a way to buy time for those proper peace deal negotiations to take place. Trita, one of the things that we've seen in the last couple of days has been oil prices have been rising again. They haven't shot up significantly like they did at the beginning of this conflict, but they are rising. And I wonder what you think that means for global confidence in the ability of these two sides to stabilize the situation right now.
I think there's a lack of confidence that the diplomacy will work, but there's an even greater confidence that neither side can afford another long war. And as a result, that force will keep them away from a completely uncontrollable escalation. But I think there's other factors at play here as well that really makes a longer war very unattractive. Oil inventories have not been able to be replenished. We are at a much lower level globally. We're much lower level with the U.S. strategic petroleum.
Like, eventually China will just have to start importing oil again, you know. They have so much of it, but just they will eventually have to start importing it again. So, like, you know, when that happens, then oil explodes in price and China won't accept it forever, and it'll be like a punishment to the US because it's going to be a far bigger China have money. China have unlimited dollar reserves, by the way, basically. They have trillions and trillions. How it will end up working is China will pay more for oil than like Japan and other Asian nations which need it that are allied with the US.
Petroleum reserve. The Iranians have less oil on the waters compared to what they did in February. So the runway before any oil crisis really would become serious is much shorter than it was back in February.
One of the things that CENTCOM has been saying about these latest rounds of strikes is that it is degrading Iran's capability to fire at ships on the Strait of Hormuz in order to allow safe transit of vessels through there. Can the U.S. militarily degrade Iran's capabilities to do that enough to secure the transit? And if it cannot do that, what does positioned and prepared to ensure freedom of navigation actually mean?
I don't think it's a question as to whether the U.S. can do it. Given enough time, the U.S. probably can do it. The question is, how long will that take and how much will the oil markets suffer in the meantime, that it ends up becoming a political disaster and nightmare for the Trump administration.
Exactly. China currently allow that oil to flow out, but eventually China will need it. China does have a huge amount of it stored. They have probably between 1.3 and 2 billion barrels of oil. But eventually they are going to need it. They are going to need it.
That's where I think the problem lies for the United States, that yes, they could go on and on a low-grade level degrade the Iranian military capabilities on the southern side of their coastline. But at the same time, if it leads to a disaster...
Is the ceasefire over again? I think at a certain point you have to say that there was never a ceasefire and that this is all so incoherent. Trump is now demanding a 20% toll on the Strait of Hormuz.
...on the oil markets, that's just not a sustainable strategy for the United States. And again, we are much closer to the midterm elections now than we were back in February, when Trump thought that he had more time on his hands.
Apparently, what the UAE wants to do is that, I've seen people talking about this, apparently DP World is going to build a port here that will in Fujairah, which will basically bypass the Strait of Hormuz. But the issue is that what's happening there? Oh, it's right next to Iran, so it doesn't necessarily fix the problem. Like, it can get hit. You're going to have to defend that heavily, and it almost is impossible. The ceasefires are just increasingly bullshit. Like, they don't make sense, and they're just totally incoherent. But apparently the Iranians are going to murder Trump, so that's what the issue is.
To maritime locations that Iran was using to menace shipping in the Strait were hit. Dozens of targets were hit by land-based and sea-based fighter jets. Guided missiles were fired from ships in the area. This latest round of airstrikes came after Iran fired on a Cyprus-flagged cargo ship crossing the Strait. It was traveling outside of the route designated by Iran and following the route encouraged by the U.S. One sailor is now missing and the ship was disabled. President Trump says Iran triggered this round of violence.
Agreed to a deal yesterday, a perfect deal for us. No nuclear, no this, no that, no nothing. They gave up everything. And then after that, they left the room. And then within an hour, they launched a drone at a ship.
Why does he sound so fucking terrible? And this, by the way, once again, another problem of understanding Iran, okay, is lies. The problem is that Trump just lies. He lies constantly. He lies all the time, just non-stop fucking lies. Apparently there was a deal yesterday. Now there's not a deal.
As far as the plot to assassinate President Trump, as relayed by Israeli intelligence, the U.S. Secret Service issued a statement. While we do not confirm or comment on intelligence matters, we consume information on a global level to effectively execute our protective operations.
This is pretty serious. You know, you can't just make these kind of claims. I think it's important for Americans to understand that what the Iranians are saying and doing is nothing that they haven't been doing for 47 years.
Meantime, some 20 vessels, upwards of 20 vessels, crossed the strait yesterday. That's about half the volume before this latest round of strikes. Oil is now up 3.5% a barrel to 79.
Also, I think the U.S. is making up how much is crossing the Strait of Hormuz. I don't think much is actually crossing the Strait of Hormuz.
$1 a barrel, and that's about 8% higher than it was before this latest round in the conflict. Lawrence, back to you.
Roger that. Thanks so much, Mike. United Against Nuclear Iran CEO and former U.S. ambassador to the UN, Mark Wallace, joins us now. Mr. Ambassador, thanks so much for joining the program. I want to talk about the Strait. Before we get to the Strait, though, there is some reporting that when you look at Fordo, Natanz, or Esfahan, there has been no move.
God, this guy cannot pronounce any of the names of it.
There. But it does look like some of the surveillance imaging is showing that they're trying to reconstitute Pickaxe Mountain. What do you make?
Pickaxe Mountain. It's pickaxe, isn't it? Pickaxe Mountain. Why can't this guy pronounce anything?
Think of that.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And was listening to Mike's great report. Obviously, he really covered it comprehensively. Look, we have really good eyes on these nuclear sites, and I'm confident, given where the eyes that we have on it, and whenever you see commercial satellite reporting or news reporting of satellite data on these nuclear sites, I am quite confident that our military and our intelligence services have truly quite good eyes on these locations. And look, moving surface debris around is one thing. Truly trying to dig out this material and reconstitute a nuclear program, we will know it. But it is worrisome because clearly Iran is not ready to rejoin the community of nations, as so many of our friends have hoped in the past. And
also, by the way, okay, so you say Iran does bad things, so it can't join the so it can't join the community of nations. What about the fucking US? What's the US?
I think it's quite suspect that they ever will want to do that. And this kind of conduct is designed to be provocative and get us talking about it.
Yeah, the president makes the argument that they don't even have the tools to be able to dig out that nuclear dust. So, but they're still attempting to do it. I want to move on over to the Strait because that seems to be their one tool. At what point should the president weigh the options? Because we have plans put in place to do that, to secure the Strait. Are we reaching that moment that the president may implement that plan so we take that off the table, those cards?
How are they going to do that? Go on, tell me all about how they're going to take the fucking Strait of Hormuz. How do they do that then?
Look, for the last 47 years, Iran has been desperate to confront the West and use the leverage of terrorism, its proxies across the region, its nuclear program, which was its ultimate leverage. And now most of that leverage has been eviscerated, obliterated. It's gone. And the last gasp of this leverage that they hope to have, even as oil prices and China's oil consumption, as oil producers around the Strait are redirecting. The control of the Strait of Hormuz and the effort to try to control that is their desperate effort to regain or try to assert regional hegemony, control in the region. And I think that it's, as long as this regime is in power, they're going to try to exert whatever leverage they can. And the Strait of Hormuz is really their last gasp because their other tools are gone.
Such a good point. Before I let you go, it would be foolish of me if I didn't get you to respond to the tragic passing.
This guy is so bad. Also, you said, Ivan, you said Fox doesn't have great hiring standards. Yeah, maybe Fox doesn't have great hiring standards, but oh my God, he can barely speak.
The late Senator Graham, I know you had a relationship with him. He was a foreign policy hawk, but wanted the safety of America at its core. What's your reaction to his passing?
Well, first of all, thanks for asking that question, because Senator Graham was part of the Three Amigos. We were close to many government officials in our own country and others. And Senator Graham was a great friend of ours and our our colleague Joe Lieberman, who passed some time ago now as well. I think really the point to remember, Lindsay, a group of us were circulating a picture last night that our great friend Ileana Ross-Lehtinen, the former chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, sent to me. And it was a picture of Lindsay in New Hampshire with Jeb Bush, John McCain, Ileana, and others. And Lindsay was just beaming with this smile. There was a joy to Lindsay's politics,
The only joy in Lindsay's politics was killing people. Lindsey Graham only seems to have got joy from one thing, and that was mass murder of non-white people. He advocated for that in his entire life.
See the things that he cared about. He loved doing this stuff. He loved confronting the challenges of the United States, and he loved working with other members, regardless of party. And I think the thing that will be missed most about Lindsay was his knowledge, expertise, but also the joy that he had in working on these issues. And I think the sense of privilege that he had in working on them, and just the joy that he had in working with everyone on Capitol Hill and across the aisle. We're seeing less and less of that in politics today. And with the last of the Three Amigos gone, it's a real sad day for America.
He really is. The man loved being a senator. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News.
I don't know, just all of this, by the way, is just fucking insane. The fact that this is just ongoing right now, that Trump has just reinstated a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, and the consequences that are likely to come from that are just unbelievable. But don't worry, the insight is here. Can't negotiate with terrorists. Quit making deals with psychopaths. That is good advice for the Iranians. Stop trying to make deals with psychopaths. Can't negotiate. They will never make a deal. They are evil liars. Evil continues when others decline to eliminate evil. Every week there is a new threat. The more aggression Iran displays, the more they validate their claims. But yeah, like, Iran still clearly possesses the ability to cause the major problem for the US after Trump claimed over and over again that they couldn't, which is Iran can and will fire missiles at the US, and if it, at US assets in the region, at US allies in the region. If it continues to do that, the US will be fucked. They are going to have a major, major, major problem. And what will they, and the problem is that, yeah. Sink a carrier, please, already. I don't know that they'll be able to sink a carrier. We'll see about that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, reimposing this blockade is just the most insane thing that the US could have thought of. We'll go back to this in a second.
Let's bring some breaking news now.
Sketitz wanted me to watch this of them talking about destroying the International Criminal Court.
Years, Americans have governed ourselves as a free and sovereign people. We choose our own leaders. We determine our own laws, and when we're accused of a crime, we stand for judgment before a jury of our own peers. This is the essential and indispensable feature of our form of government. It is the foundation of our shared way of life. But today, powerful people in faraway places want to take that away from us. They believe that they should be in charge of your life.
This is also why I just fucking hate Americans and the American ideals. Because, like, Americans say shit like this when their whole country has just been premised on, has basically just been premised on denying that to other people.
Laws of your country, your life, and they don't care whether or not you agree. Halfway across the world, there's an institution that calls itself the International Criminal Court. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. But chances are you don't know the names of its judges, of its prosecutors, or its president.
It's also really fucking funny that they stole a leader from another country to force him to stand trial in their fucking country. And also, have any of you seen, apparently Marco Rubio is now just running Venezuela with Delcy Rodriguez. Apparently that's the current reality. The awesome thing that's fucking going on right now is they're just running the entire country.
You shouldn't have to. But as we speak, the ICC and its friends are waging a war against our country. Not with bullets or missiles, but with statutes and compacts and the force of so-called international law. When the ICC was born 24 years ago, they told us that it was merely a narrow backstop, a global court that would step in to prosecute only the gravest offenses, things like genocide and war crimes, and only when a nation's courts were unable to prosecute them on their own. But the truth is, it was something far more radical and extreme. It was a global tribunal staffed by unelected globalist bureaucrats who claim their power is almost unlimited. The danger of this global court has only continued to grow. Today, it threatens every aspect of our political and legal system. Border Patrol agents removing violent criminals from our country. American Marines risking their lives to defend our homeland. Prosecutors working to dismantle terrorist plots to attack and kill Americans. If we stand idle, all of them would be at the mercy of foreign judges thousands of miles away, facing the constant risk of prosecution and even imprisonment for the so-called crime of defending their own country. The American people never agreed to any of this, and they never will. Read the words of our Declaration of Independence. We fought a revolution against a foreign power, transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. Independence is our birthright. We will never let foreign bureaucrats take that away from us. This administration will not sit by as the ICC and its allies seek to threaten our people. If they believe they can deprive us of our sovereignty, we will teach them the full meaning of American resolve.
Does this mean they're going to just attack the International fucking Criminal Court? It is just, yeah, it's hard to watch him when his ears are like this. But just like the whole thing of being like, oh my god, we fought a foreign colonial power. This is why American exceptionalism does suck so much. And all of the fucking myths about it. I'm sorry, what is he talking about? What is their fucking horrible plan? It's just, yeah, it's just like, I think like Marco Rubio, someone pointed out Yusuf Munea, is that Rubio is looking to cement the Adelson lane for 2028. Vance probably isn't going to compete for it much anyway, but I imagine we would still expect more pro-Israel style stunts like this in the lead up to the primaries. Yeah, I feel like this is part of it. They're going to use Rubio to replace, they're going to use Rubio as a potential Trump replacement. And so he's just like, I'm pro-Israel. I'm your guy, Mr. Miriam Adelson. I'll be there giving you every settlement you've ever fucking needed. And more settlements. Mark Barr Rubio. Right, let's learn more about the closure of the Strait of Hormuz.
Some breaking news now. The US President Donald Trump has just posted on social media that...
And yet, you're right, it is really fascistic propaganda. It's really fascistic propaganda in the sense of like, you know, oh, we can't be prosecuted by anyone far away. Why was it ever a reasonable thing to be part of? The only reason they're upset is because it actually goes back on themselves. That they're worried it might happen to politicians. That it might happen to US politicians when they perpetrate war crimes. He's also written an op-ed about it. Oh, wait, this is him just reading said op-ed.
He is reinstating the US blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. Let's go over to Rosalind Jordan at the White House. Quite a significant statement. And he's also had something to say about tolls. Take us through that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do like Blur, but I probably would say Oasis. I don't know. Also, especially, I don't love Wonderwall as a song, but it is kind of exciting when England sing it at the end. We have almost no way to hold our leaders accountable. Yep, it is fucking insane. It is insane. I mean, it's also the crazy thing of, like, finally they use the ICC to prosecute Israelis for their heinous war crimes. And then what happens?
I'm going to read from part of the Truth Social post that the U.S. president just put on his personal social media account, and I'm quoting, "We are reinstating in all capital letters the Iranian blockade, so named because it is only stopping Iran's ships or customers from entering or leaving," and that implies the Strait of Hormuz. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. The USA will be, from this point forward, known as the, quote, guardian of the Hormuz.
It's also so funny to read this as well, after listening to that fucking moron, Marco Rubio, talk about this. Talking about Marco Rubio, like talking about, oh, foreign powers interfering in our politics, wah. You were literally talking about how you wanted to rule over Iran and choose their next leader. Like, that was something that they openly advocated for. And also this thing of, like, just them interfering in Iran. Also, by the way, CEO of Nordic Tankers, we won't send any tankers back through the Strait of Hormuz until the US and Iran agree. Once again, the fucking problem. Trump can say all of this shit about supporting these people, about like supporting people. It's just insane. Yeah, and also, I only read this recently. People in certain states were literally offered land and slaves, land taken off from the indigenous people, and also putting in land taken away from indigenous people, and also being given slaves that were taken from other places as a result of your glorious revolution. You know? Open blockade, Donald J. Trump. Fairness, Hormuz Strait, guardian Iranian. Thank you, politics.
Strait.
Oh! Terratro,
it is utterly ridiculous.
Thank you so much for the gifted sub. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It's always incredibly kind and it helps to keep streaming. I'm incredibly grateful as fucking always.
But as
It's also not to be, Chris, I honestly think it's also not to be implicated in the crimes that it does through regional partners, be it Israel, Jordan, or UAE, or Morocco. If those guys go on trial, they are going to point their Amazon Prime delivery merchant US of A. Yeah, I don't think you're fucking wrong about that.
And as a matter of, in capital letters, fairness, we will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo shipped for any and all costs necessary to do the job of providing safety and security to this very volatile section of the world. The process and formation will begin immediately. Now, we don't have any more details on what the process and formation will be, but recall that earlier in the war between the U.S. and Iran, the president ordered the U.S. Navy to impose a blockade on all Iranian shipping through the strait. We don't know whether the U.S. Military is currently configured in order to be able to carry out a blockade. It has been providing some escort work for commercial ships going through the Strait of Hormuz because there are mines.
Oh, holy shit as well. Saudi Arabia has just intercepted a missile from Yemen. There are reports of an attack at the Abha International Airport in Saudi Arabia. Even if it hasn't hit it, that's pretty fucking bad. There might, if it had hit Saudi, there was a chance that there is footage. Oh my goodness. Reports of explosion on Abha Airport, flights diverted, and another Yemeni missile impact in the same region. Possibly the King Khalid base, air base next to Abha, could be the origin point of the attack on Sana'a. Wow. Holy fucking shit. How can your sadness at her death be real if it's so obvious all you're interested in is finding another reason to double down on your existing hatred? What are you talking about? But you're racist idiots. Who would help you? Idiot racists. Fuck off. What's wrong, Gonzo Bankster King? What's up? That's the first time you've ever made a comment. What's up? Why am I an idiot racist? What have I done wrong? Fair play, lad. Fair play, lad. Oh, guys, please stop talking about... Yeah. Was watching Hugo's stream. Someone in his chat claimed that the Houthis claimed the ceasefire with Saudi is over. Someone else said that in my chat. I think it was maybe Gamal Abdel Nasser. The salute to the former leader of the country of Egypt. SMH YouTube chat. Yeah, I have no idea what Gonzo Bankster King is talking about, but he's talking about some woman and hating me. And he said he could make Britain rich. He said he can bring about 3 grand in universal income. Gonzo Bankster, why don't you prove that by donating $3,000 worth of subs right now? We could hit the... All we need is you to bring in that universal income specifically to me by donating $3,000 worth of subs per month every month. It's greatly appreciated. So thank you so much for that.
At the bottom of the strait, and clearly there is no desire to have these commercial vessels blown up by these mines. But again, the U.S. President Donald Trump is announcing that this U.S. blockade of Iranian shipping traffic through the Strait of Hormuz is going to resume, we imagine, later on Monday.
Rosalind, this is quite a significant change of U.S. policy, right? What the U.S. president had been saying on June 20th was there will be no tolls or fees for 60 days. What he said on May 29th was more indicative of no tolls and unrestricted traffic. And now talk of a U.S. imposition of some kind of fee.
Well, let's unpack this a bit. As part of the memorandum of understanding, as I understand it, there was not supposed to be any more blockade carried out by the U.S. Navy, and that apparently stopped the minute the two countries agreed to this memorandum of understanding.
And yeah, on the air campaign, the air campaign is not gonna work at all. Like, they'll continually do this fucking air campaign, and they'll be like the Americans. They won't achieve the success that they want. Like, the US failed to defeat the Houthis, you're right, or the Ansar Allah. So it's like, what's going to happen? It was always just been, fuck you, we're doing what we want, and they just don't know what to do when they meet an enemy they can't steamroll. Yep, exactly. Exactly. I'm also really, really upset that Gonzo has not kept good to his promise of bringing 3K. In fact, actually, you know, you said the 3K would only be to me. That is right. It's universal income. You should give 3K to everyone in the UK so they can all become members of the Chris K channel and also have a bit left over after a huge amount of gifted subs. We're talking like maybe... I don't know how many subs would every person in the UK. What, there's about 70, 80 million in the UK, somewhere between that number. 3,000 times 70 million, you know, if they were all giving me that every month, I'd use that money for good. I'd get a better camera.
That said, the U.S. military has been providing some escort services to commercial vessels because the strait has not been fully cleared of mines, and so there is that safety risk. But in terms of preventing Iranian vessels or vessels doing business with Iran, whether it's the government or businesses,
I believed in you, Gonzo. 14 months, Jesus. Joe, thank you so much for 14 months. Incredibly goated. But yeah, I believed in Gonzo too. Now he's gone. Now he's gone.
That was not being carried out because that was a part of the MOU.
Yeah, I could get Gonzo. This is the problem. You got my hopes up. I was thinking about, yeah, bisexual lighting, a better camera, and... that would be it.
Does that mean, with the president's latest announcement, that the memorandum of understanding is now null and void, or is the U.S. violating the memorandum of understanding? All of these questions need to be sorted out because this is only creating more confusion on the status of the MOU, which was supposed to be the 60-day.
Sorry, I guess I'm kind of distracted from talking about this. I am actually really intrigued by someone who comes on a YouTube chat and says that we're all racist idiots who can fuck off and that we have been making fun of a woman's death. I don't know who he's talking about. Anne Widdecombe, maybe? Is that who? I really don't know.
Period for the U.S. and Iran to figure out how to move from a ceasefire.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I guess the problem with the Memorandum of Understanding is, my opinion is the US wasn't dumb enough to go back to war. Unfortunately, it seems it is fucking dumb enough to go back to war. And they have gone back to war.
Fire to a permanent end to their war. There's also this question about whether the U.S. can legally impose any tariffs on countries that it is assisting throughout this process, because another part of the MOU was the Iran...
Maybe they are talking about Lindsey Graham. I actually don't know. I don't know. I really don't know.
Iranians would not charge any vessels for transiting the strait for the 60 days of the MOU, implying that the Iranians would be able to then charge tolls or tariffs after that 60-day period. These are questions that need to be sorted out, that both governments need to try to explain, try to renegotiate if they are willing to renegotiate at this point. This is all just coming out in probably the last 7 to 8 minutes or so. So there are a lot of questions that we just can't clarify at this point.
On the verge of asking you to clarify the unclarifiable, Rosalind, but is there any indication from any U.S. quarter about how this new system of imposing a 20% fee is going to work? I mean, Donald Trump's post talks about it as starting immediately.
We haven't gotten any reaction from any members of Congress, for example. This is just coming out.
God, do you think Trump is doing this in remembrance of Lindsey Graham? Because of Lindsey Graham died today, and Lindsey Graham died yesterday, excuse me, and now he has no ability to see this. He's probably actually so fucking sad, and you don't even think about it.
Have not heard from any economic analysts or any geopolitical analysts taking a look at this. There had been concern over the past weekend or so that the status of the MOU was in serious jeopardy, but there were also signs that intermediaries, Pakistan, Qatar, Oman, other countries, were still working to keep the parties at the table and to try to continue negotiating the terms for a permanent end to the war. So this is...
Yeah, don't Google the ladybug story. It's insane. There's no, you don't Google it.
All just happening in the last few minutes, and it is raising a lot of questions about whether or not the MOU is still viable, is still in force. We don't even know what the Iranian response is yet, but clearly Iranian officials had been saying earlier on Monday that they were blaming the U.S. for this latest round of tension in the Strait, and that the U.S. was basically destabilizing the global energy markets by its actions. So we really don't know yet what is going to happen to the MOU, whether we're about to see a resumption of warfare between the two countries, or whether things can be clawed back again and try to retain the ceasefire, which is about halfway through its 60-day period.
And you mentioned the energy markets. I should point out, Rosalind, we've got the strap up there on the screen. Oil price is 79.59. It was 79.60 for Brent. So it does look like the concerns you were talking about are playing out somewhat on the oil markets right now. Thanks so much, Rosalind Jordan there.
Oh my fucking god. This just the thought of this like potentially being the like up and coming thing. What's going to happen next is just like awful. Like it's just a terrible wait, what? Yemen government says Houthi rebels are detaining a Red Cross aircraft. What the fuck? Sorry? What is happening right now? Why is the whole world going into just going fucking crazy over the last few days? I guess this stuff has been like cooking up for a while, and just has been happening for a long time. But just yeah, like what happens next? Like this blockade of Iran will not work again. So what happens? Like, yeah, as well. So Ian Bremer pointed this out. A 20% toll on oil shipped through the Strait of Hormuz. $15 additional cost per barrel. What? With chat, I'm a freak. Yeah, I would be honest of like it's, yeah, that's a horrible story. World War III. I don't know, a lot of people didn't think the World War I would end up happening as quickly as it did, and then it just sort of kept on snowballing into worse and worse shit. But I don't know, it really remains to be seen. A lot of what Trump says is just fucking bullshit, but obviously, you know, one would hope that the US has just reached its end as like being taken seriously as a global superpower. Like, it really should not be taken seriously as a global superpower at all, and why it's just bad. Also, I won't cover the shooting. I won't cover the shooting in Maine by ICE, because it's just, I just don't know enough as of yet, but I will. God. As well, the US government bond, a 10-year US Treasury bond, is now $5, up from $4. It's almost $5, excuse me, up from like below $4. Who are the superpowers now? Well, obviously the US is the major superpower in the world, but China's really the emergent insurgent power, in the sense of like China came really from nowhere. And now it's like, you know, really close to it. It's really close to it in terms of its economic abilities. And China has so much money that it's like, it's kind of time. It's kind of tough, sorry. It's kind of time that the US might be just, you know, stopped. Also, things are very pre-World War I right now. 100%. Yep, 100%. You know, rearming nations and all of this stuff. I think there are small conflicts to redistribute the world, like before World War I. World War III comes a couple of years after the redistribution is done. Yeah, and I think that failing to get rid of the Islamic Republic is like terrible for the US because they've completely failed in it. And the logic of arming yourself with a massive amount of drones and a massive amount of, basically arming yourself with a massive amount of drones and missiles is obviously the way forward. You have these and you're near anything that you can threaten with it. It's kind of insane. Yeah. It's kind of insane that you're able to do this, that you're able to basically do this. I'm trying to find out if there's any videos of attacks. Apparently, and I mean also, by the way, one of the other things is that's also kind of pre-World War II-esque vibes is everywhere's getting more racist and the financial situation is just deteriorating for everyone. Americans are having a pretty good time, but Europe's not having a great time. I'll be honest with you. Oh God, those just my little ladybugs. I hate that term. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that you've said those words. World War III is just drone warfare. Yep, 100%. And like, by the way, just any insurgent power that like kind of wants to challenge US hegemony will just do this. We'll just do this. We'll build it and we'll just threaten these countries. Like, we'll be able to threaten them. Threaten any of these countries. The oil market is just, and the oil market is heading towards tragedy. Like, just tragedy. Sorry, Hen Mazig is claiming that Hamas is obstructing aid into Gaza. So what are they saying? Where's this? I strongly condemn the recent obstruction by the de facto authorities, which endangered humanitarian personnel, intimidated workers. Yesterday, humanitarian workers were forced to halt after armed personnel affiliated with the de facto authorities forcibly entered the Abu Rashid point in Jabalia. The forces also entered a World Food Programme warehouse and reportedly assaulted 2 truck drivers who were delivering humanitarian. The incidents are not isolated. Okay, so they're saying what? That Hamas is the de facto authorities? Wait, are Hamas the de facto authorities in Jabalia, in northern Gaza? Would they be the de facto authorities, or would that be someone else? Dr. Ramiz Al-Bakharov. Are they talking about Hamas? I don't even know. Maybe they are? I don't fucking know. Policing inside, I think internal security. Interesting. Potentially it is. But obviously, the US has done this for so fucking long. Israel has done this for so long. And yeah. This is apparently just the cost of the Iran war. $68 billion. So gas and diesel have gone up a combined $60 billion. Apparently that's $520 per US household. Wow. I mean, it is so much more expensive. I put £30 in my car, which is the same every time, and it gets me a lot less far than I used to be. I have no insurance for health or dental or vision, and barely. Yeah, I know. That's just such an insane. That's such an insane thing about the US, that's just like a reality that you don't have that. The UK is heading more and more towards that, and it is fucking worrying. But I don't know, it's just insane, and all of this, like, it has such large consequences for American people, like this being increased in price. A second Chinese supplied by the USE was destroyed on the ground by Sudan's army. Oh, someone's just talking about Sudan destroying this. With the threat. Yeah, by the way, the Saudis have confirmed that there are attacks. They're just saying that the threat has been dealt with, though. They're not expanding on it. Yeah, I know. It just feels like so pointless that we just have to cling to this fucking thing of just this sort of. Like, we just kind of have to cling to this never-ending system of US imperialism because they have enough money to continue it. That they have enough money to continue this kind of nonsense. US can't live without cars. I know. Hey, Soph, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, the US can't live without cars, so I don't know, just this increasing price is bad. And it's bad for, like, you know, it's bad for average people, I'll be honest. It's really bad for just, like, average, everyday people. It really, really, really sucks. And the fact that it's something that's happening right now is just, yeah, it's just fucking awful. I don't know. I just wish that, you know, and obviously the people suffering the most are Iranians. Like, average, everyday Iranians are the people suffering the most, and that's really just awful. And the Iranian economy is just doing horrendously, and I just, you know, wish this was not the reality of, like, the US just constantly doing this. Although it does seem that there's been some cooling in strikes today, because there haven't been any recently. Someone has been found guilty of violating sanctions. Trump's latest comments fee just bluster. Yeah, I mean, that is true. Trump is just talking shit. Saudi-led coalition says it intercepted missile from the Ansar Allah Houthis. I don't have universal health care from my job. It is heavily subsidized, even as a non-citizen. Interesting. Walking to and from work and other places is deteriorating me. I feel worse for people on disability here. Chris, you're better than Isaac. We both know he's holding you back. Why am I better than Isaac, and how is Isaac holding me back? I absolutely love working with Isaac. Isaac is brilliant. Doing the podcast with Isaac is fucking awesome. Isaac is my guy. He's my guy in Canada. Hey, Chris, hope you're doing all right. I'm still a bit hot, but I'm doing okay. It's 26 degrees up in here today, and I feel good. Today I feel good. But yeah, the International Maritime Organization has called for the Strait of Hormuz to be free. The posh accent, he doesn't have one. I see. That is a problem. USA here. I had to cancel physical therapy appointment because I couldn't ride a bicycle 16 miles in a thunderstorm. Jesus fucking Christ. You were going to say you love Isaac. Busted. I know I do. They hate to see two kings striving together. Everyone does. But yeah, it just seems to be more of the same as of right now. Just sort of like this situation of just like, Sinatusi is saying, Iran has been put between a rock and a hard place, giving Tehran powerful incentive to respond as it has. Trump arguably overplayed the US hand by moving toward, in his own words, changing the map, assassinating scores of Iranian military political officials, demanding Iranian soldiers to lay down their arms, destroying critical infrastructure, threatening Iran's civilization, and encouraging ethnic conflicts to arm Kurdish groups. Had that strategy even been partially successful, Iran risked becoming another Libya or Syria, mired in fragmentation and instability for years to come. By the way, it's also so funny to think about how all of these people make this claim that, you know, they make these fucking claims that, like, they fucking make these claims that, like, they hate child marriage and, like, barbaric practices such as that. And it's like one of the biggest drivers in that is actually poverty, really, in many places. Poverty is the biggest driver in all of this stuff. And these people just want a country like Iran of 90 million people to just descend into absolute chaos. By the way, it does actually look like, apparently that's an image of smoke over the King Khalid base in Saudi Arabia, which is fucking crazy. All this bloodshed for nothing. Now Iran will be even more militant than ever. Yep, it won't fix anything. Do you know of if there are any HVAC? I do not know any. I have no idea. I have no idea about that. I apologize. Over Zionists in Kibbutzler, Chris Rayleigh Kibbutzler, Chaim Kibbutzler. You are posting words that should never be uttered. But yeah, on this, I mean, like, they have failed, and Iran is kind of stuck. Iran, by the way, there's no doubt about it. Iran wants some kind of deal. It's just that they don't have to be forced into it in the same kind of way that, they don't have to be forced into it in the way that the Americans expect. They're just not going to accept whatever, you know, that they're not just going to accept basically anything. And that's the major problem. And we have to put up with just this insanity from Trump and just, like, lies and nonsense and utter bullshit, you know.
Welcome to the Burger Reich.
Yeah, one just hopes that, like, I just want this period of US dominance to end. That's the major issue. I just really do not want the US government. I just do not want the US to be able to continue what it's up to, you know. Also, oh, Boodly Bugs, thank you for supporting the channel and becoming a member. Incredibly kind. Thank you so much. But honestly, incredibly kind. Thank you, as always. Thanks for supporting the channel. W Bugs, indeed. Chris, I used to do defense analysis stuff. How is it that we haven't seen a single ground pick of American bases in the MENA region since this conflict began? I mean, I guess that you would probably know more as that answer if you've done defense analysis. But I do think that the answer is pretty simple. Is from what we can see from satellite pictures, things look pretty bad, you know. Things look pretty bad for the things look pretty bad at the American bases. And if you look at satellites, it doesn't look like the Iranians are just making shit up. Western Iranians really doing so much propaganda work to make this war palatable. I know, and it sucks, you know, this whole thing of just, like, we listen to, like, we're told that we need to listen to people whose ideas are literally just degrade my country, whatever the consequences, in spite of the fact that history points to disasters, especially recently. Arming random protesters with legitimate grievances has never worked out and been a good idea. It hasn't. Like, let's just say you arm, like, these legitimate protesters, it will actually just increase the government's ability, and because you just arm them with stuff, they're still not going to be able to beat the government. They're not. And the Kurds aren't going to be able to do that. They're not. But, like, you know, these people are just telling you it's a fucking great idea to do this. It's statistically impossible. We haven't had ground level leaks by servicemen and women. The compromised media is one thing, but how are the locals? Because if locals take pictures of the bases, they get thrown in fucking jail. It wouldn't surprise me. Someone who's there would be able to tell you. They're probably completely secluded. There was also, by the way, there's a fucking terror threat on an Islamic thing in the UK today. 12 people have been arrested. Can't wait for the meeting about this. Can you imagine if this was being done to, like, even if this is like some random person mentioning it, you know? It worked in Ukraine. What worked in Ukraine? Even though the US is tearing apart at the seams, it's growing bigger and bolder militarily. It's not collapsing. Yep, I don't think you're wrong about that. I don't think you're wrong.
12 people have...
Oh! I love burgers! Askedits, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for subscribing at tier 1 over on Twitch. It's incredibly appreciated, and it helps me do this streaming. As always, thank you so much for supporting the channel.
Have been arrested as part of an investigation into extreme right-wing terrorism. Police
just made a bunch of money from the oil price jump. Is that serious? Good for you.
Police say it's connected to a suspected threat directed towards an Islamic event held at Shrubland Hall in Suffolk over the weekend. 8 people were held under the Terrorism Act and 3 were being questioned about claims of conspiracy to murder. In a statement, the head of counter-terrorism policing London said,
"So there was what? There was just a plan to mass kill people."
After becoming aware of a potential serious threat towards the Islamic event in Suffolk, we have moved quickly, extremely quickly, to make a number of arrests in various locations across the country. I know this news may be concerning to the public and particularly those in the Muslim community, given that we believe the intended target was an Islamic event. But as we have shown, we will not hesitate to act.
I did see the reports about Ahmadinejad, which, by the way, is so funny because obviously Reza Pahlavi was never actually going to fucking work. The report about Ahmadinejad was crazy, by the way. If any of you haven't seen it, it's called Inside Israel's Secret Operation to Cultivate Ahmadinejad. They basically spoke about how Ahmadinejad was taken to other countries and they were like, he was taken to other countries and he was like chatting to people like Israeli spies, and when I saw reports of this, when they bombed his home, they were like freeing him to potentially set him up as the new leader of Iran. But the thing is that the thing is that like yeah, it's the thing is that like he was Sorry, what was I saying? Oh, he apparently just got fucking disillusioned with it. Like, the Israelis did fucking rescue him, but he just was disillusioned with it. Also, by the way, on YouTube currently, I think we're actually nearly at 100 members, which is kind of... No, 200 members, which is kind of crazy. Like, 200 active members.
If there is any potential threat, no matter who or what the potential target may be. I'm
Ahmadinejad is in Iran and he's arrested.
also pleased to say that although the event ended slightly earlier than planned, it nevertheless passed off safely.
But yeah, not surprising that this is just happening. World Cup 2026 sucks. I'll make my decision when England win it, mate. Also, by the way, crazy thing. There are loads of wildfires breaking out in the UK right now. Loads and loads and loads of wildfires. UK. There have been like 2 or 3 that are happening.
Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is to visit the site of deadly wildfires in the south of the country. At least
Yeah, goated. Shout out to the YouTube members. Thank you for supporting the channel. No, I'll cover the ice murder tomorrow, Thai-Fi, and then I won't be streaming. I will be streaming on Wednesday, I think. Maybe a shorter stream because obviously England are playing and I need to go out and see that. Maybe I'll start slightly earlier. But also, the other thing that was happening is on Thursday, I've got to go get my feet sorted. I've got to go to a podiatrist.
13 people have died in the fires in Andalusia, and Spanish authorities say that 4 of them are British. Mr. Sanchez is
So this is Spain first, but yes.
expected to meet emergency teams and assess the damage from the blaze.
Quite a lot of people died in in Spain though.
Our Spain correspondent Guy Hedgecoe has the latest.
Well, the news is relatively good in that the fire, we're told, has now been stabilised. A fire that began last Thursday, it's burned 7,000 hectares. It has claimed 13 lives as well, and 1,400 people were evacuated from their homes. Those people are now being told that they can start to return to their homes. So there is cautious optimism in terms of the situation. The conditions have improved somewhat in terms of the wind and the temperature. The Andalusian regional president, Juanma Moreno, said that he believes this is the beginning of the end of a terrifying fire. However, we do have that death toll.
I really can't wait until this is just a regular occurrence in Europe and we just do nothing about it and let it keep on happening because, I don't know, we just should.
Just a few hours ago, it was confirmed that a 93-year-old British woman had died from her injuries in hospital caused by the fire. So, you know, people are very much still in shock down in Almeria.
Yeah, and Pedro Sanchez, Spanish Prime Minister, due there shortly. Some of the families of the victims.
Yeah, when he said the beginning of the end, I thought it was going to be for life in basically just for life in Europe.
Have complained that there was a kind of lack of official guidance, lack of text messages, lack of clear information over how to evacuate.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a debate that's going to rage on because this is an area in Almeria which it's inland from the coast. It's not, you know, a big town or city. This is a series of villages, and it's an area with some quite secluded houses. Some of them holiday homes, some of them homes where people actually live, and that appears to be where part of the problem was, and that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when it comes to blaming immigrants is just obviously so much easier and more fun for so many people than this.
There was possibly a communication problem in terms of letting people know when and how to evacuate. The local authorities have said that they believe that the people who died possibly did not follow evacuation instructions to the letter. But I think there is going to be a debate about the efficiency of evacuation instructions in the future.
Guy Hedgecoe, well, it's not just Spain, because in France, fire crews, including 2 firefighting planes, have rushed to the Paris region.
Are they going to talk about the
tackle
UK?
a large wildfire
here we go.
south of the city. Officials say the blaze, which broke out in the Fontainebleau forest along a major road, is of exceptional scale. France is facing its 3rd heatwave of the year. And in North Wales, a major incident was declared over a large-scale wildfire on Conwy Mountain. Dozens of people in the village of Kapalulu were evacuated, and neighbouring communities urged to close windows and doors and avoid affected areas. Brendan Williams has been speaking to those living nearby.
Our dog started barking madly at about 5:45 this morning, and I could smell burning, so it leapt out of bed and realised that obviously...
I didn't even know this. 2025 was the United Kingdom's worst year of wildfires on record since records began in 2012. Why did we not have records before 2012, I wonder? Why? Why do you think we didn't have them before 2012, I wonder?
Something was going on, but the whole area now up there is an evacuation zone, and we don't know when we're going home.
Beyond the smoke that engulfed their home.
The right-wing regional government in Andalusia did not use the mobile alert system to warn people to evacuate their town. They killed people. Fucking hell. That's crazy.
The sheer scale of the blaze became apparent. On land scorched by recent hot weather and the flames fanned by 30-mile-an-hour winds, the fire...
Yeah, I mean, probably the reason that the records began in 2012 is because wildfires only really started to become an occurrence in the UK back then. I'm sure they've previously happened by people setting them worst wildfires. Okay. I'm sure that they've happened before, but yeah. Block climate change. I read last year that Saudi Arabia pays $170,000 every minute to block climate change action. I'm sure that they do. I'm really sure that they do. I don't doubt that. I mean, it's probably the same as like America. America's probably spending inordinate amounts of that.
Quickly took hold, forcing the evacuation of dozens of homes.
Around 6 o'clock in the morning, we had a knock at the door. And I'm like, who's at the door at 6 o'clock in the morning? And there was a police officer, and I looked outside and I just seen the smoke. I thought, all right, yeah. He said, close all your windows, because obviously we've got a bit of a situation.
2 hours later, there was another knock on the door.
Yeah, London did burn down in the 1800s, but it didn't burn down because of a wildfire. It was started by... What caused the Great Fire of London? Wasn't it a bakery of London caused? It was actually a massive fire. How many people died in that? Was a major deaths. How many people died? How many people died in the Great Fire? Yeah, it was on Pudding Lane. Fucking hell. No wonder people mock us. The disaster left roughly 70,000 to 100,000 people homeless. While official records only counted 6 to 8 fatalities, many more are believed to have died from the extreme heat and smoke. Yeah, you would assume that if that was now, there'd be so many people dead now. That they'd count so many more as dead.
You're saying pack a bag, you may have to just leave. And that to me hit home then, because it's well, how serious is this? You know, what do I put in my bag?
Firefighters were alerted to the blaze in the early hours of Sunday, and as it spread, residents in surrounding areas were also advised to close their doors and windows. The huge plume of smoke could be seen from miles around. We've been advised not to go...
Yeah, rip Lindsey Graham, you would have loved Pudding Lane. I don't know, he seems like a guy who enjoyed a nice pudding.
...any further than this, but from here you can clearly see the huge blanket of smoke. You can smell it, you can feel it in your throat, and you can just about make out the flames on the mountainside. Now, conditions up there are described as particularly challenging because of this heat and this strong breeze that's been blowing all day and fueling the fire. The weather is expected to remain extremely hot.
I know the Great Fire, Chicago Fire, was a cow in a barn knocking over a lamp. No, it wasn't. It was an immigrant. That's what I believe.
Dry for many in the coming days, which will only add to the worries of evacuated residents who don't yet know what they will be returning to.
By the way, I am sure that this is going to be just, a major occurrence. Guys, I really have to run because I'm recording No Politic with Isaac here. It's going to be the bonus episode. The episode's actually already recorded. I don't know when it's coming out. It's an episode with Denims we're doing we did the denims episode. It's mostly about Platinum, some other stuff. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I hope you have a good rest of the day, and thank you. Honestly, I would just want to say thank you for everyone who became a member, donated. It helps so much to support the channel, so incredibly grateful for that. And anyone who just shares it, talks about it, comments, likes, whatever the hell, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Have a lovely rest of the day. See you guys soon. Bye bye.